think, right?
Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. Hope everyone's having a fantastic weekend. We're here for Free Comic Book Day. But before that, we've got a great lineup of people to talk about comic books. Jim is coming, but he has not made it yet. He's had a little hiccup in his plans, but he'll be here eventually. Does everybody have big Free Comic Book Day plans? Dylan, you going to the shop?
I'm right after this. I'm flying out to Hawaii, so.
Oh my goodness, you're going to Hawaii?
Yeah, my friend's graduating from Hawaii Pacific University, so I'm going for his graduation. So
beautiful.
That's my weekend plans, yeah.
Dude, I could see you just staying there.
Just staying in Hawaii. Hawaii's nice.
Hawaii's the most relaxing place in the world.
Are you going to the Big Island, or are you going to one of the smaller ones?
Going to Honolulu. So the homeless people are. It's crazy how much the homeless population increases. Like every time I go there, it's just like more and more.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be
the best place to be homeless? Yeah.
Yeah. Not good to be homeless here in the Philippines. You get similar weather, but not quite as nice.
You wouldn't think it'd be nice to be homeless out here in Seattle either, but there's still a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's cold and rainy.
When you allow rampant drug use, you're going to have that. just like California.
Sully, you going to Free Comic Book Day?
Yeah, as soon as my pickup comes, I have a Goodwill's coming to pick up my mom's clothes today. I got 21 boxes, and so my living room is not going to look like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark anymore. I can reclaim my living room. I'm so happy. And after that, I'm going right to my LCS, my local comic book shop. I'm looking forward to picking up the Energon Universe Free Comic Book Day the most. So happy Free Comic Book Day to everyone out there, and I hope you get to your local comic book shop.
Make sure you get a Conan, man. That's gonna be hot.
That too.
It sets up the big event this year.
And there's a Speed Racer issue 0. I'm kind of interested in the Amazing Spider-Man Ultimate Spider-Man 1. And I think I'm going to avoid the DC ones because it looks like Dan Slott's Superman Unchained.
Yeah. Apparently it's AL's birthday. Did you guys know that?
Hey, I did not.
Birthday.
Happy birthday,
AL. She's going to a birthday party. I hope it's at like Showbiz Pizza.
McDonald's, or...
You prefer a McDonald's birthday party with like Grimace?
They're pretty cool. I had no problems with Grimace. My problems were with Birdie the Early Bird and Hamburglar.
Wait, baby Hamburglar, right?
No, just classic 70s, 80s Hamburglar before he got the anime style, reboot.
How can you have a problem with Sinister Hamburglar? He should be sinister. See, this was McDonaldland's soft on crime policies under Mayor McCheese that tried to reframe crime as being cute. And I object to it. That's right.
Yeah, it's soft people like you the reason we can't have good fucking McDonald's mascots anymore.
Oh, jeez.
So why did the bird freak you out?
Oh, the early bird. She was irksome, and she was a new character to the Pantheon. She premiered in the early '80s with like more breakfast stuff being available.
Yeah.
She was the Kamala Khan of the McDonaldland
she was
universe.
The Kamala Khan.
Forced on you. It didn't happen organically. It was just they were shoving her down your throat.
They really
along with their egg muffins.
First came Birdie the Early Bird, and then Kamala Khan. Who's next?
Breed, are you gonna make it to Free Comic Book Day, dude?
No, I've never been to one.
You're that guy. You're too good for the.
No, I've always
unwashed masses.
No, I've always it's Derby Day. My brother always has plans, so I as soon as I'm done here, I go there. He goes to whatever Derby Day thing he's going to, which is gonna suck because it is absolutely miserable here today. But yeah, if it's not still monsooning at 5, I might run out to one of the two places. And
for Derby Day, are you going to wear one of those big hats?
Last time I participated in a Derby Day thing, it fell on my birthday one year, May 6th. It snowed. Absolutely miserable day. So I don't care about it. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not your Derby Day, it's your brother's.
Right.
Very nice. Is Sparrow making it to Free Comic Book Day?
No. My stuff will get held for me, and I'll just go pick it up tomorrow.
So you're also one of those people that doesn't like the unwashed masses.
No, I just
It's too many kids.
The thing I never liked about Free Comic Book Day is all the freeloaders that show up. You know, it's they're not there to buy anything. They're just there. They bring their dirty kids in. They're like, get your free comic books. And like, then the kid's like, I also want this pack of gum. And they're like, no, you know, you can't have, we're not spending any money. We're just here to get free stuff. And so, and then they bail out. But,
freeloading
I
5-year-olds. Get a job and pay for your books.
All I hear is Ben Affleck and Mallrats beating up Jason Lee. Freeloaders come in here with no shopping agenda, and I can't respect that.
Yeah, it's like, like a lady walks in and she's got like 12 kids with her because she brought every little dirty kid in the neighborhood. And California is already full of freeloaders anyway, so I think Free Comic Book Day is a bad idea. How about that? And thankfully, might be the last one because maybe nobody buys that trademark. And now next year, Lunar will do it and they'll call it something else because we won't have Diamond next year. So
I know what's going to happen to Free Comic Book Day. Is this the final?
The Diamond stuff's weird. I don't think it's over.
No, it's not over. I think NECA just bought the Diamond.
No, but what I'm saying, I don't think that stuff is over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's official.
I mean, Diamond's done though. Diamond's not coming back.
No, but they weren't submitting those reports. Like, there's a good chance that they just didn't have financial books. That's why they couldn't do them.
Yeah,
they might not be able to do the transaction if they don't actually have their books.
That's true. I told the story a while ago, but in maybe like the mid 2000s when I was ordering, and I had Patrick Stork was my rep. I was talking about how we were getting rid of our flat screen monitors at Toy Rocket, and we were getting larger monitors. And he goes, are the smaller flat screens, or they don't work? And I was like, no, we're just upgrading. And he goes, oh, wish you guys could send those smaller screens over here to Diamond. We're still working on CRT monitors.
Wow.
Yeah, in like cranky old DOS programs where they had to input their info. Diamond has never been big on putting any money into infrastructure, and why should they? When you're a monopoly and nobody's competing against you, why innovate?
I had to work with stuff like that when I was on Cheyenne Mountain, but it was literally a base inside of a mountain. So I think it was hard to get stuff in and out. So maybe that's what it was. Weird. We shall be getting to some more formal introductions, but we do need to say a huge shout out and thank you to Sigma Comics for supporting and sponsoring today's live stream.
Hey,
their iconic run on the Punisher Unlimited series. Comic book legends Mike Baron and Klaus Janson are back together on the same explosive book. Get ready for Calico Morality Play, a stunning 176-page trade paperback from Sigma Comics, collecting Here Comes Calico issues 9 through 14, packed with character backgrounds, jaw-dropping art, and so much more. In the gritty streets of Red Hook, Brooklyn, animals are turning up dead, but when people start dying too, Calico faces a gut-wrenching choice that shakes the very core of his morality. Hero, anti-hero, or criminal. You'll be on the edge of your seat finding out. Unlike Calico's Street Math, which was rated M for mature, Morality Play is rated T for teens. So if you love Batman, Daredevil, or The Punisher, this is your next obsession. Back Calico Morality Play on Kickstarter today, and Sigma Comics guarantees delivery within 30 days of the campaign's close. No waiting around. And a huge thanks to H.H. German and Sigma Comics for supporting Comics Aficionados. We're thrilled to help bring this animal rights avenger to life. Search Calico Morality Play on Kickstarter now, or click the link in the video description to join the fight. Don't miss this one, true believers. Boom. How's that, Aaron? We're up in the production values.
You killed his.
I destroyed Aaron's audio.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm sorry. I muted it because I had to cough and then I never unmuted. Very nice, Wes. Very nice. You're moving into voiceover. You're gonna be leaving us soon for your big new voiceover Hollywood career. We're gonna be hearing Honda.
Dude, I wish they would do the old school voiceover trailers with the one in a city so dark. You know what I mean?
Trapped in a world he never made.
Exactly.
It was Detective Dylan's last day on the job, but now
it was a dark and stormy night. Lieutenant Dylan was walking his beat.
Exactly. But thank you very much to HH and the fellows at Sigma Comics. Well, ladies and gentlemen at Sigma Comics. There's a link in the video description. And we have another special announcement. Both Calico Morality Play and Unholy Nightmare will be available at the Sigma Comics booth at Fan Expo Dallas. Well, we welcome all comics aficionados to join Sigma Comics and TCM Press in our booth. Get your tickets today. So we have a place to chill out, fellas, while we're in Dallas. We got have our own base.
Nice.
We should have a little something else there yet that I'll talk about next week.
Ooh. Cupcakes?
We'll see.
Dude, if there's cupcakes, I'm not leaving.
Oh, now we know. Oh.
Cupcakes and fudge. I'll definitely be there. So very exciting stuff. And like I said, huge shout out to those guys. If you're interested in Morality Play, Mike Barron, Klaus Janson back together once again. Very, very exciting stuff. And Dylan, I know you are also a movie aficionado. Over the last couple of weeks, we had Sinners come out. Apparently, it's been a big hit, but we've also got Thunderbolts Asterisk this weekend. Did you see these films yet?
Yeah, I saw Sinners, I saw Thunderbolts, and I saw Nick Cage's new movie, The Surfer. That's what I've seen recently. Thunderbolts was a big ol' okay. It was fine. I thought Wyatt Russell was the highlight. I thought he was great. I thought he was definitely like the highlight of the movie for me. He was really good. I kind of like the entirety of the cast of Thunderbolts was pretty good, other than I hate Ghost. I don't know why Ghost isn't there. Ghost is such a stupid character. But yeah, it was just, I don't understand all the praise it's getting. It looks like a masterpiece compared to Brave New World, but
that's why.
But as far as like movies go, it's not even as good as like your average Phase 1 Marvel movie, which is all the comparisons I heard for it, was that it's like, oh, it's just like, it brings Marvel back, but it's fine.
I mean, if
it's
it
not as good as Iron Man 2,
it's better than Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is really bad, but yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's just not particularly good either. It feels like a small movie. You know, when they say it feels like an A24 movie, that's not accurate. It doesn't feel like an A24 movie, but it does feel like a smaller affair. And I think that's part of the reason that I enjoyed it, is because, you know, a lot of people have complained about like, oh, you know, the themes of depression and things like that. And then other people have wildly praised that. It just is what it is. It's neither crazy praiseworthy, nor is it the worst thing ever. And that's pretty much the film. It's like, I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. It wasn't the best thing that Marvel has done, but it was certainly not terrible. And at this point in Marvel, just having a film that doesn't make you want to punch yourself in the face is an accomplishment. So actually having a film that I sat and I enjoyed, and performances that I enjoyed, and characters that, with the exception of Ghost, who just might as well have kind of not been there. Although her costume did look cooler this time, I thought. But like there's just not much for her to do, and her powers don't really work with the rest of them all that well. So she's kind of relegated to the background. So I don't even think it's the actress's fault necessarily. It's just she's just fine. It's just the characters.
The person I really felt bad for was Olga Kurylenko, because they do take a moment for her mask to open and show you her face, and it's like, hey, I'm here too. And then that quickly, you know, everybody knows from the trailers and everything.
Yeah, everyone knew it was going to happen to Taskmaster.
Yeah, they quickly.
Taskmaster shouldn't it be Task Mistress?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, she's not comic book Taskmaster, of course, in any way, shape, or form. But both that character and that actress deserve far better than they were given in Black Widow or here. But sadly, the character is just so unpopular from Black Widow. There was just nothing to be done with, you know, for the actress to save it. So.
Yeah, and this one's mostly shot on location too, which is nice, because like when people are walking around on the street, it doesn't just look like a shitty green screen in the background, like in a lot of Marvel movies. The movie actually looks good for the most part, but then there is some of that questionable MCU CG where there will be like CG body doubles for some scenes, and it just like the first time Sentry shows up, they instantly throw him as like a CG body double. It looks really bad.
As bad as the baby in American Sniper bad?
Up there.
See, I didn't even catch that. I was just kind of like engrossed in the story at that point. So so I didn't even notice any bad CG. The movie is very dingy and dark. But it is like, you know, supposed to be like gritty, kind of like anti-hero characters. So that's somewhat forgivable. But you know, yeah, just at least for most of the part, it did not look fake. It did not look like, you know, weird Anthony Mackie head CG in, or, you know, a big dumb red Hulk, you know, pulling them apart. And for all the people that said like, you know, oh, it's another movie where they talk the villain down. That's not really what happens. There's not a lot of talking the villain down. There's like one line that Yelena has, and then like some kind of things that the characters kind of do something, and it makes sense within the context of the story, and it's a far better ending to the conflict than you got in Captain America: Brave New World. So I think those comparisons are unfair.
So is Sinners better though?
Oh, Sinners is a better film, yes.
What do you think, Dylan? Come on, Mr.
I'd say Sinners is better, but I didn't really love Sinners either. I thought Sinners is overrated. People are acting like it's the best movie of all time, and Sinners is another movie that I thought was just okay. The music's really good, and the performance is really good, and it looks real nice. But as far as the story goes, I didn't think it was anything that special.
It's not 28 Days Later.
No, it's not 28 Days Later. Also,
if you go expecting a groundbreaking story, you're not going to get it.
If you even go expecting a horror movie, like people are saying, I keep seeing people like, I can't believe there's a horror movie's making this much money. It's not a horror movie. Not even close. The scariest part of the movie is a snake in like the first 10 minutes. That's like...
It's more like a period piece.
Yeah, but it's being portrayed as like some horror vampire movie where they're very much put to the back of the movie.
Yeah, it's like the last act is, you could best describe it as like a thriller at the end.
And there's a lot of moments of like, all right, vampire could end it here, but he's going to just stand and stare and do a speech. He does it like 8 times. It just keeps happening, and that just got on my nerves.
Dylan, vampires are very up their own ass. They're going to stop and they're going to monologue.
When it's an important character, they will. When it's a non-important character, they don't.
You don't also depend. Are they hungry at the time? It's like, hey, I just ate your friend. Give me a minute. I'm just going to talk for a bit.
When those doors open, they go in and they just seemingly have unlimited ammo and no one reloads. And the vampires are kind of slowly coming in and like only going after non-important characters. That scene just felt so bad. It's like,
you push your father to the front.
Yeah, it's like this makes no sense. They all should have been dead in like 30 seconds right there.
Did you see Revenge of the Sith? I'm assuming that you did.
Yes. Yeah, I saw it twice because I saw it once normal, then they put it in 4D, so I saw it in 4D also.
How was that?
Which is it's like an amusement park ride. That was my first time seeing a movie in 4D because you're up, the seats are off the ground, you're moving. The best part was when they're flying, when like they're in any type of ship flying.
The wind is like blowing.
It's sick. Yeah, I got nailed during the part where Obi-Wan, when Order 66 happens, Obi-Wan's like calling up the wall on Utapau on his space lizard, and he falls in the water. When he fell in the water, I got nailed in the face with a spray of water. Just like that part just perfectly hit me. But yeah, it was pretty cool seeing a movie in 4D. Also, every time like when they're having a lightsaber fight and they'll kick each other, it feels like someone's kicking the back of your seat because the seat will just pop. And it's like that threw me off at first, but yeah, it was cool.
So it still holds up?
Yeah, it still holds up. I still like it.
That Star Wars movie you saw since Revenge of the Sith the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Rogue One. Good. Yeah.
I was hoping for a special edition for that because they have all this cutting room stuff with Padme literally inventing the rebellion. It's on the bonus disc if you have Revenge of the Sith. It's part of the bonus materials. So there's this whole huge story beat of Padme. And it got dropped, and I'm like, no, give me a special edition of Revenge of the Sith.
I don't have good feelings about Star Wars and special editions, dude.
The ending fight was going to be different too. Have you heard the choreographer talk about that? Instead of just I have the high ground, he jumps over him. Originally, Anakin was going to have Obi-Wan by the throat, and Obi-Wan uses the Force to pull his lightsaber, and one fell swoop chops all his limbs off. It sounded sick, but yeah, that was the original idea, and then they changed it. So,
you had to make Obi-Wan forced to do it.
Also, that part where he jumps down, says hello there, and then he just drops that giant thing on all those droids. Originally, he fights like all those dudes one-on-one, and he said the choreographer said it was like him fighting 6 Darth Mauls, and he said it was the best lightsaber fight he ever did. But that got cut, and that would have been so cool to see.
Bastards.
I would have loved to seen that. Yeah.
At least you got some good movies because this is a truly abysmal comic book week. Hopefully, Free Comic Book Day is good.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think DC put out like 4 books.
Yeah, they didn't put out much.
It was like Detective Annual, World's Finest Annual, The Power Company, and
The Last Halloween.
And Superman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a question along the Watchtower.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that one's done.
So So a typical DC week where it's almost all Batman.
I wonder if Skybound is going to republish the like what they did last year. Remember that they had Free Comic Book Day, and then they had the Energon special for $4.99 later, like the next week. And I was like, "What the? This is the same."
Marvel's doing that. It's called Marvel Zero 2025, and it's $7 for all the Free Comic Book Day stuff. Kind of gay.
What does Marvel put out that's worth paying for? Maybe that new Juggernaut, huh? New
Hell Hunters, but it's over now.
Juggernaut.
Hell Hunters was good.
Yeah. Hell Hunters was good. It was fine.
Wes, did you know there's been lots of Juggernauts? There's been lots of Juggernauts through time, and Kane Marco killed the previous one, but he just never mentioned it in any of his history. And isn't that crazy? He's never at any point. Yeah, I've been like, one time I met another Juggernaut and I killed him.
What are you doing, Sparrow? You're giving Breen a fucking migraine. Look at him. He's in pain.
He's cringy. He's in pain.
We're all in pain.
How you doing, Breen? The man's so cool to call him a Breen. Coming back to the aficionados.
1961 to 2012. And you know what that means. I'm doing all right. I said allergies are killing me. Cat's certifiably insane.
But you're a cat dad now.
I am. I inherited a cat.
Yeah, but don't act like you don't like the cat. You and the cat.
I love the cat. It's wonderful. But all these stories I was told about how cats are aloof and they pretty much leave you alone. This one's a dog that doesn't bark.
That sounds like you got a good deal.
Well, it's nice because there are times I said, you go to hit the head and you hear something, you turn around and the cat's just sitting there on the table next to you watching. Oh, it's like, how'd it get there?
Yeah, you're lucky. I seen Dylan's cat give him the finger once and then put his butthole in his face.
Pretty much.
Well, cats will do that.
Sign of dominance. Yeah. Otherwise, comic books going all right for you, Brain? You still doing the old EC stuff?
I got this real quick. How's it going, little Rhaegar? There,
that's it.
EC stuff.
Weren't you buying all those EC reprints?
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about the EC revival that Omni was doing, and said those. I bailed on all of those because they're even the good writer. I mean, Matt Kent had forgettable stories in those. They're just weren't good. But yeah, the reprints, I snap up every one of them. I'd like to have every EC reprint. I'm getting close.
Very, very cool. Who else we got here? Sully's already eaten breakfast, but you're also clearly in pain, Sully. You went to Florida and you weren't ready for the sun.
I was well, I did it in stages. I did an hour outside, and then an hour and a half inside, another hour outside, so but I got, I'm Irish. I have fair skin, and an Irishman's first tan is a burn. And, we're like land lobsters. It was fun. I had a blast. I did not go to any of the parks, though. We just hung out by the pool for 3 days, ate food, and hung out with my family.
Did you find a cool comic book shop?
No, but I impressed a Latina in line. And I was like, we were at the supermarket. And it was this long line. So the manager, and she's like this hot Latina. I'm like, hey, what you got there? She got this cake. And she's like, oh, I got a cake. And she's like, so the manager opens the next line. And I said, the place who stayed, mommy. And she looks at me like, ooh, because that means, what kind of gringo says mommy? This one does,
Did you get the numbers? Digits?
I didn't have time. It was at 10 in the morning. And what was I going to do? Sneak her in? I should have. Please don't interrupt. Don't wake up my aunties, please. You know what I mean? Keep it down, lady.
Well, let's hear for the peoples. Matt Fisher says, thank God Sully's here to save us.
Yeah, I know. I heard last week was a shit show. Without me? I mean, seriously. I
thought last week was a banner show. I thought it was fantastic.
It was great. I was fine. It was nice to see Jeff and John's long walks. It was great. I was watching you guys down there.
Yeah. Apparently it's the Sully show once again. Callum says, if those alleged rumors about the Superman turn out to be true, what does that say about James Gunn? Because he's done the incel thing and the Creature Commandos. So, Dylan, I'm sure you've heard about the hashtag super shit thing, right?
Yeah, I heard about that.
What do you think?
Didn't hear. I don't. Yeah, it just sounded like a one-off bit in the movie. That's what it sounded like to me. It didn't sound like a huge pop. To me that whole thing just sounded like a one-off comedy bit with the monkeys writing super shit. I didn't care for the whole if Superman's actually affected by it, because that doesn't sound like something that Superman would care about at all. About people saying super shit on Twitter, that doesn't make any sense to me. But most of it, from what I read, it just seemed like bits that James Gunn would do, because that's what he does in his movies. He has a lot of comedy. So
maybe he
so
was
you're
exposed
still.
to...
I'm waiting to judge till the movie comes out. We can all panic about rumors until the movie comes out. I'm just waiting. Once the movie comes out, then I'll give my judgment. For right now, it just doesn't bother me. I don't care until I see the movie.
Are you still excited for Fantastic Four?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as excited as I can be, because I've never really been a big Fantastic Four fan. So
I think it looks better than Superman so far. I think the trailers are better.
Trailers are good.
Yeah.
But according to James Gunn, we haven't even got the 1.0 trailer. We've got the 0.5.
Yeah. You just got the teaser, and then you got like a 5-minute clip from, I guess, from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. So whenever we get the actual first trailer for that, maybe that'll be really good. Who knows? But yeah, I'm all this panicking about all these different things with this movie. I'm waiting until it actually comes out.
Very nice. We got Jim from Weird Science appearing.
Hello.
Welcome to the channel, Jim. Are you okay?
How many super chats did I miss?
20.
I'm here.
They're all for you.
I don't know.
Jeez.
How's everybody doing? I just ran in the house, so I'm here.
You ran?
Sorry, I'm late. Yeah, I was running my mouth. That's what I was doing. But hey, what's up?
Calb says congrats to Wes for getting a mention on Friday Night Tights about the gay boy Juggernaut. These self-proclaimed writers are so boring. I didn't realize. Well, that's cool that they saw it. I tried to read Juggernaut or Kid Juggernaut this week. Sully, did you make it through?
Yeah, I've read the whole thing, of course, and
I made it 8 pages.
It was terrible, and but you know what? I take that back. I mean, between Doom's Division and Kid Juggernaut, these are the Teflon books you're not allowed to critique, or else you end up on a list. And like me, learn from my mistakes. I made the mistake of saying something critical about Danny Rand's legacy as I said, what happened to Danny Rand? He's the Iron Fist. And here I get blocked by Greg Pak. I get blocked by Alyssa Wong. I'm like, I don't even know these people. And I'm like, what the? And so someone in my chat was like, no, you must have ended up on an AAPI watch list. Block list. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh, good. Then I'm on one too, because I criticized that Jubilee piece the other day where she's a hero. She's a hero because she's half Chinese, and I'm like, that's an immutable trait. That's not what makes her a hero. I would say that her first act of heroism was saving Wolverine from the Reavers under threat of death. I think that makes her a hero, but that requires your assistant editors to know anything about the character aside from their immutable traits, or care about
Sully.
anything more than that in people.
Nobody cares about Kid Juggernaut. You can mention that. Nobody's putting it on the list. They won't even know what you're talking about. It's such a non-book. It's nobody even would know what
Danny
you're talking
Rand
about. I can imagine you're like, Kid Juggernaut. People would not even be like, what the hell are you talking about? The list you're going to be on.
You only read 2 pages or 4 pages, Jim?
Yeah, I ended up. Well, I looked at it. And I'm like, oh, this is totally awesome. Hulk/Juggernaut and whatever. So I didn't get very far.
You didn't even make it to the part where he was the barista hitting on the dude.
No, I was waiting for Jeremy Lin to show up and shoot some hoops. Is what I was waiting for, and he never showed up.
That's why we did it on the show last night. That's how the Miami Connection scene came up. Is because I said that the scene where she comes in to tell him about his dead dad is almost as painful as the scene from Miami Connection. That's how we ended up watching it. Because she comes in, she's like, "Hey, I really need to talk to you about your dad. He died and blah blah blah. I can't really talk about it right now. I got to go see the lawyer." And it's like, why would you bring that up if you don't have time to talk about it? It's like you just needed to get that information across. You didn't have a way to end the scene, and you needed her to leave. It's just such hack writing. And this person has written in TV and is now slumming it in comics because, of course, the strike decimated TV writing and all the places where these hacks should be. So now they're coming in for their $25 page rate at Marvel.
Jeez, I mean, how can I be anti-Asian? Look, my executive producer is Japanese. He's a Pikachu. Come on.
Plus, you like CB Cebulski.
I like Peach Momoko better.
I wish Peach Momoko was in charge of Marvel at this point.
She's fantastic. The Calv says, from what people have told me about Thunderbolts, it sounds like Tom King wrote the movie.
No, it's not like that. Yeah.
People are being hyperbolic and overblowing it. It's the same thing as, it's the worst thing ever, crowd that has to hate everything, and has to blow. I doubt that anybody who said that has even seen the film. They just heard online, it's about depression. It's about depression.
Yeah, I know one guy who saw it that me and Wes talked to. He said it was great. He said him and his whole family were laughing it up. So
that's cool.
I don't think it's not a laugh it up movie. I mean, there's a couple
this guy said he might be a dark guy.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's just it's weird because there's things in there that you're like, were those supposed to be jokes? But like, I just finally went, no, it's just character banter. It's not supposed to be laugh out loud funny. It's just supposed to be the characters kind of sniping at each other. So I don't know. I don't know what he was like cracking up at, but unless it was just like, either. We thought that David Harbour was funny because he is the comic relief character. Yeah. He's the, so, I can understand laughing at him. He's over the top and he's kind of fun, but no, I agree with Dylan that Wyatt Russell is the gem in this movie.
Yeah. They don't wallow in depression in this movie.
Dark sense of humor. He did bring a 4-year-old to go see the first Deadpool movie.
I don't regret a thing.
Exactly. So
he doesn't talk to me now, but that might be the bonus.
I don't think that's the reason necessarily. I'd like to think that he wasn't already inclined to not talk to you.
That 4-year-old, he's like, I hate you, Dad. I'm like, I wish you were 2 again. The good old days.
When I could take you to R-rated movies.
You used to think I was so great when you were 2.
Adam Frey says, I love Free Comic Book Day and have a full run of the major books going back to 2002. I will die on my Free Comic Book Day hill, Sparrow.
Okay.
Adam Frey, man of the people. He's got a complete run of all the stuff from 2002.
But does he have all the Owly books that have been released?
Ooh.
Owly and Friends?
He says major books. I'm assuming he means Marvel or DC and maybe like
Adam,
Image.
I would be offended if you're telling me that Owly and Friends is not a major book on Free Comic Book Day because they have one. They've had one every year for as long as I can remember.
I like the Overstreet Price Guide books for some reason. I'm like, oh look, Overstreet Price Guide. They put out a floppy at Free Comic Book Day. I'm in. I love that thing.
You're like, oh my gosh, I remember when this was a thing.
So you can get like, what is it like? Just a portion of the guide to show you what it's about.
It's illustrated like a comic, so it's more of like the Scott McCloud Understanding Comics approach to the Overstreet Price Guide. So it has like panels, pages, art,
like Spider-Man saying you should go buy Amazing Fantasy 15. It's worth a lot of money.
Like in how to grade comics, and I think for grading the comics, the most unsung thing I think Overstreet has is the guide to grading comics. That should be part of all of our collections. It's great because it gives you such an appreciation and an eye for it too. So, because the comic book shop and conventions are one of the last places on earth you can really negotiate the price with the seller. You can be like, hey, look, you're selling this as a 9.2. Look at that ding. Look at that corner. Look at that spine roll. Come on, this is definitely under an 8. And you can.
Somebody has them in finding ladies on Backpage. That's definitely negotiable. Like, look at that jelly roll. At least $5 off.
Wow.
Well, Sparrow, Frey has the Owlies.
He has. Oh, all right. Now we're talking. All right, my respect increases.
There you go. And Jagron 2 says, so should I stick with One World Under Doom in North We Trust, or should I pivot to Imperial, even if it could be Gods 2.0? Hickman rules.
No.
I mean, Hickman's a real writer, so at least you would get some
I'm just saying drop both. Save your money overall.
I would definitely pivot away from One World Under Doom, though. I don't see it going anywhere. And Doom's not even the villain. It's going to be Dormammu, I guess.
No, we are. We're the villain. The people.
Maybe.
I think that's what it is. I think he's just going to show at the end that everybody's an asshole. That's that. But I learn that every day. I don't need him to tell me. That story stinks.
Sully, do you think you should stick with One World Under Doom or try and go check out Imperial?
Oh, I'll check out Imperial instead. I've checked out of One World Under Doom. Even though Red Hulk as a tie-in, Red Hulk #3 came out this week. It's pretty darn good. I like that. But oh gosh, One World Under Doom #3 bored the hell out of me.
Yeah, but you still read Doom Academy and like Doom Strike or whatever this week.
Doom's Division, yeah. I mean, I read all the Marvel books that are given to me because you know why? I'm blessed and grateful to have these reader copies, these review copies shared with me, and I'm like, at least I'm exposing myself to these comics I would never open. I would never even think of spending my money on or picking up off the shelf. So now, after 2 years of this, I have a curated opinion about like, oh yeah, this definitely sucks. And I can say it.
You're gonna die of exposure, Sully.
But yeah, I mean, Doom's Division, it was just awful.
Are you excited for the freaking Planet Hulk stuff to come back in Imperial? I like.
Is Great Pack involved with it?
No, it's.
Oh, thank God! Then I'm in.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be cool.
It should be.
Cal says, but on the Superman rumor, do you think it's a perfect excuse for Zaslav to sell DC Comics and throw away the garbage working there?
I don't think they want to do that. I think they'd love for Superman to be a huge hit and keep things going and make a bunch of great, successful movies and be like the early days of the MCU. I don't think Zaslav is like, yes, I hope this movie sucks and I get to sell everything.
Yeah, I think they want to make it work. They have definitely invested a lot of time in it.
Yeah.
I mean, the social media bit, that's going to age the movie like almost immediately.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's definitely a bit that, you know, I think Dylan's right. I think it's just a small bit of the movie. I know people get upset and they're like, you guys just want to hate and blah, blah, blah. You know, we get it in the comments from the people, you know, the casuals that come in. And it's like, we're saying that we hope that it's a good movie. You know, we've said that repeatedly. You know, did you watch the video or did you just read the title and then start your comments? You know, but it's like we're just having a discussion about these things. But I think it's a small bit, but it is going to be one of those things that's like going to be grating because you should have had a timeless film.
Yeah, timeless character.
Mm-hmm.
They should have done what they're doing with Fantastic Four for Superman. Had him come back in like the fucking 30s. That would be great.
Everybody would have talked really fast. Hey, look up in the sky. It's Superman. Oh, boy. Is he a bird? Is he a plane? What's going on there?
Listen here, Clark Kent. You usually don't be riding on my coattails. I'm the only female reporter in town.
Exactly.
Shut up, you change.
Lois with Sully's voice is just.
Hey, Superman, you come to my town. I'm Lex Luthor. I run this town. You can't be coming in here and beat Superman all over the place. You know, hey, look at that Lois Lane over there. She got a great set of pins, that dame.
Yeah, big galoot.
So, Jim, you showed up a little bit late. How have you been doing? So, you didn't almost die this week. I think I confirmed that already, right?
Yeah. I'm still here. I wouldn't say I didn't almost die. I had a couple of crazy things. Ate some weird food, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Trying.
Are you talking about the ants?
Well, yeah. I ended up realizing that if you are on a keto diet, ants actually don't ruin it. They actually help it. It's great. I was drinking. I keep drinking coffee, and when I get done drinking, I realize I drank like a cup full of ants, and it's weird. Like it almost feels like the coffee's like Pop Rocks when I'm eating it. It's like moving around in my throat and stuff. But then, what can you do, right?
Bear Grylls would say just eat up. I think ants are on the menu.
Bear Grylls would say that, but he'd also want me to piss in it, and I'm not doing that. You know, that's not happening. But I did tell you that if you smush an ant, it ends up smelling like blue cheese. You can try that out. That's a little hack. It's so disgusting.
It's a hack.
It's a hack for somebody.
Hack.
Oh, it's the worst. It smells so bad. It's so bad. But yeah.
So did you get the life hack where you put like curtains around the toilet now so nobody can see you?
No. I actually one of the reasons why it was a little late, I had to go take a dump, in public, it seemed, because we just have a toilet in a room upstairs. There's no walls in the house. Actually, everything's kind of ripped apart. And we had a porta-john, which I did have to take a hike to get to. But instead now we just have a toilet. It's like we're in prison now. It's just a toilet in the middle of an open room. In full view of the front door, too. It's great.
Do you leave the front door open?
Well, yes. Yeah, I do that. And then get up. I do
just a lot in case somebody knocks.
I do end up where I am on the toilet as if I'm an old lady on the porch on a rocking chair. I have this like quilted blanket over my lap and stuff. It's very fun. It's a nice time. There you go. Welcome.
It's a little window into Jim's life.
Yeah, an open window is what it is. Everybody looking. Yeah, and we actually have now at this point, we have people walking in and out because they're doing some of the drywall downstairs and the siding outside. I don't even care anymore. I was going, and the two guys who were doing like the gutters, they walked in. I waved to them. I'm like, what up, dudes? Like, and they're like, what? And they walk quickly through.
It's like Tom Hanks in The Money Pit.
Yeah, it's just how it is, I guess.
Shelley Long opens
the
up
only running water is in the toilet as well. We don't have any running water. My son took the stove out. I have nothing.
You have a crock pot.
I have a crock pot and an air fryer.
Is that in the 8x8 space that you've been?
Yeah, it is. Actually, it is. It's right here. And that gets like one of those like aroma disc players you had, but it's more of like, pork or stuff like that. It's good.
Jim's got a wild chili going right now.
Yeah, just right now I do not have anything, but it would be nice. I'm going to make some stuff later.
Very good. It's AL's birthday, by the way, Jim.
Oh, happy birthday, AL. AL's awesome. Yeah, happy birthday, AL. One of the nicest people.
Should we sing?
I don't want to sing. I'm terrible at it.
You
would like to sing. You have a great voice.
I have a terrible great voice.
And the one, and the two, and the happy birthday to
Sully.
you.
I can't follow Sully.
What? Come on.
No, because I was gonna go, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
A little more
Happy
breathy.
birthday, AL. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. Tip your week.
Try to be harmonies next.
See, Jim and I are forming a quartet.
We're gonna be good.
We're gonna sing dirty songs.
We're gonna be the two-man quartet.
Aaron, now sing in your 30s voice.
That's what we need to do.
Happy birthday! Hey, AL, happy birthday there from your good friends at Jingle Co.
Is that Adam said he'll do $20 if you do the rest of the show in your 30s voice.
Number one on the gramophone this week is Adam
How
Sparrow.
about Mrs. Sparrow? Give it a shot.
I don't know, Wes. You need that $20 real bad? I could do it.
Hello,
if we all talk like that, we can bring the show in by 11:30.
Check out the Lollapaloozas on She-Hulk. Oh,
no, they're precious.
The Lollapaloozas.
MH hashtag Comics Invictus. My boy, U.S. Agent, a favorite character since 1987, was pretty good. We'll buy the Blu-ray. 2 laughs, 7 out of 10. So there's 2 laughs in the movie.
that's cool.
I thought it was funny when Julia Louis-Dreyfus called him Junior Varsity Captain America, and I was like, no, that's the Captain America that just failed in the box office. That's
snap.
I'm sorry, Captain a lot of different things.
Have you seen the rumor that she might be like an older rogue because of her gray hair?
No, that's a stupid rumor.
That has to really just be a bunch of dumbasses being like, look at her hair. That's Rogue.
It's like
There's
she's.
no
I mean,
way.
they show her origin. She's South American. They give a flashback to her that
I thought she was
like
Italian.
She was Viper, Madam Hydra,
yeah,
right?
Italian.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's Italian.
Yeah, but there's no way she's Rogue.
Fragile.
That's just people seeing the hair going, oh.
I used to love that character in the old S.H.I.E.L.D. comics, and then they destroyed her in Marvel, as they've destroyed so many characters over the years.
Kind of like Kid Juggernaut.
I mean, he was never the kid. I mean, Kid Juggernaut was never a character that had potential.
I guess we could get into some comic book stuff here. We had Hush 2 come out last week. There's not a whole lot of news going on here, but there has been a little bit of divisiveness going on about Hush 2. Jim Lee returning to interior art for the first time in a very long time. Jeph Loeb also returning for the sequel to, obviously, the most memorable and well-known Jim Lee Batman story of all times. Me personally, I think it's very derivative. Not a whole lot of new stuff going on in there. But I know, Dylan, you've been swearing by this book. You think it's absolutely the bee's knees.
I never said any of that, but the first issue was good. The first issue was good, and the second issue was a mess. The second issue was just, it felt very dated, and it was very much, you could tell that Jeph Loeb has not read a single Batman comic since the last time when he wrote Hush. There was just, we're just retreading old ground. This last issue was not very good. But one thing that I did like about it is it turns it turned Jason back into being the rogue of the Bat family, and I like that because I think Jason should be the sort of dickhead of the Bat family that does whatever he wants instead of just falling in line in Batman's army and just being another Robin, essentially. I like that because that's how he should be. Yeah, so I'm happy about that because when they did when he fake killed Penguin years ago, that was when he went downhill after that because it was like, oh man, he actually shot Penguin. That's cool. That's something that Red Hood would do. But it turns out he shot him with a blank, and it broke his eyeglass. It caused glass to go in his eyes. So that's why it looked like he shot him, but he didn't. And he fell in line, went whole non-lethal, and I hated that. Now he's back to being a jackass, and it's great. So that part I liked. But their conversation was very much like been here, done that. And that's kind of the whole issue. It was very funny when Batman shot him in the face immediately. That was hilarious because he's like, I can't let Joker die, even though it's a net good for humanity, but I can shoot Robin in the face instantly. No hesitations. Like, I think his mask is bulletproof. We're going to find out. So just shoots him. That was hilarious. Jim Lee, I thought he had more to do this issue, at least, because the first issue, Jim Lee didn't really get to flex his muscles at all. There wasn't much for him to do. This one, it's still not as good as the first Hush. You can tell that he's not in his prime no more, but it still looked better than the first issue. And I did like the part in the beginning where Batman's just struggling with the fact that he's being played by Hush, but he has no other choice than to do exactly what Hush wants him to do, because he's like, I have to save Joker. I can't let him die. But also, that's exactly what Tommy Elliott wants me to do, and I don't want to do what Tommy Elliott wants me to do. And so he's struggling with that. But after that, the book goes downhill, and it's very much been there, done that. It's very derivative, and it's just meh. And then I hate that Riddler design. Oh, my goodness. That Riddler design is ass. It's so bad.
He looks like Major Force.
I don't get that. The Riddler design in the last Hush was peak Riddler. I love that. He's got like the bowler hat. He's got the nice green suit. He looks amazing. And this somebody's got like a buzz cut. He looks kind of jacked. He's got this weird question mark on him, and he looks ready to go. He's got like the military pants, the military boots, and it just looks so stupid.
He looks like Lockup. Like it looks more like a costume for Lockup. I mean, it's not even green. So you didn't even keep the color theme. You have to keep some of these visual elements. Big white. If you recolor it, like it's still not
slightly
a good costume,
green.
But at least
it's slightly green. But it's not a heavy green. But man, it looks bad. I am excited for Nightwing to get involved though, and something that I don't think it's going to happen, but I wish would happen is I wish Jason was doing this of his own volition. I hope it's not him working with Hush. I hope that's Batman's paranoia being like, oh, of course Jason's working with Hush, and that's why he took Joker. I hope that's not even part of it. I hope Jason's just doing this because he's Jason and he has a history with Joker and he hates Joker. I hope that's it. That would be cool to see like Batman's paranoia getting to him, but I have a feeling Jason's actually working for Hush, which not a big fan of that. And that whole sequence where he's talking to Jason, he's like, you're not mad, Joker, you're mad at me. It's so stupid. That was so dumb. It's like you're saying he's not mad at the guy. He's not mad at the guy that killed him. What do you mean? You can mad.
I let you die. You're mad at me.
He could be mad at two people at once. I don't think he's just like putting all his anger on.
That's
Batman.
my ex-wife.
Yeah, look at the internet. You could easily be mad at more than one person at once.
One thing I really.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sully.
No, well, one thing I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, Aaron. One thing I really liked was Jim Lee's apparent dismissal of current Red Hood design, because he went back to the the Judd Winnick, Dustin Nguyen red helmet
with the helmet, yeah, but the rest of it's still the current design,
right? But I mean, the return of the red helmet, that is iconic. I hate every one of these current designs for Jason where it is a literal Red Hood and he's got a COVID mask on and a domino mask. You know what I mean? It's stupid. No. He's got a look to him. And they stick to that.
I did like that Jason. Right, I like that Jason instantly called him out when he put the gun to him, because as soon as I saw that page, I was like, "How is this a threat?" When they're having their standoff and Batman's got the gun to him, it's like, "Batman won't kill you," and Jason's like, "You're not gonna kill me. Throw the gun away, you idiot." And it's like, okay, exactly. I like that.
No gun rule too. What are you doing?
No, you guys are right. Jeph Loeb has not read current Batman continuity. I kept expecting Alfred to walk in.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
That's the big rumor. Your Sparrow's ready.
I mean, they should bring Alfred back. It was stupid that they let Tom King kill him. So,
well, supposedly he wasn't gonna kill him. It was supposed to be the psycho pirate making Damian think that's what happened. But then they were like, "No, we're not undoing it."
It was a setup for 5G as well, where Batman was going to retire, and that was the reason. There was a lot of things going on that, again, anytime Tom King does something fucked up, he blames some sort of editor or Dan DiDio if he was still there. Is what he
sometimes he gets an editor fired and then
and then mad. That's just like a Sunday for him. But, you know, other times he does things, other things. But yeah, there was a lot of that was like I was told it was a setup for 5G and that fell apart, so it never ended up being a thing and whatnot.
So everyone's on board that the best Jason Todd look is the red helmet?
I am. Love that look. That's really cool. I mean, everything else is kind of lame. Go back to what
you don't like the red hood with the
right
mask?
Motocross mask thing.
Yeah,
I don't like
stupid.
That.
It cuts off his peripheral vision. You know what I mean? At least with the red, helmet mask. You know that's he can technically he can see. Like he doesn't get in. I mean, come on, I'm a city boy. When you have your hood up, you have to have your head on a swivel because you don't know who's going to be right behind you. Your vision's cut off there. It's not wicked smart to be like in a city with a hood up. You know,
he's got a crowbar.
He does
going after him. What do you think, Breen? Is that his most iconic look? What's your favorite Red Hood look?
I don't have one.
You don't like Red Hood?
No, I just don't have a particular favorite look. I mean, I've been in and out of DC Comics for pretty much the whole time that he's been back. So I've never really paid attention to what he looks like.
Well, very nice. Are you enjoying the Hush too, or are you abstaining?
No, I thought 159 was one of the worst comic books I've ever read in my 50 years of reading comic books.
Wow, you went a lot further than me.
Well, I am team Joker's got to go, and I understand he can't because it's a comic book. Although I would have killed him off and just had someone else take over the mantle. But for this champion of justice to move heaven and earth to save the most homicidal, genocidal maniac. I mean, no, he hasn't blown up a country like Cheshire, but he's probably racked up a body count comparable. So to save this man's life, who will kill the minute he wakes up if he has a chance, to the woman that basically saved his life after she found him after his parents had been killed. He takes her to her to save this piece of shit's life. When if he wakes up for a second, he could have killed her. And then the shooting Jason Todd. I mean, I as far as I remember, Batman hasn't used a gun since they introduced Robin, because I know he used to kill people in the first year or so of his existence, but it's terrible. I mean, I said it none of it made any sense, and I know we're all supposed to love it because it's Jim Lee, and I said I'm not nearly as much of a Jeph Loeb fan as I imagine some of you other guys are, because I've never forgiven him for wanting to bring Kara Zor-El back and DC firing Peter David before he can hang up the phone, but that's neither here nor there. But no, it was a terrible book.
Are you going to take that, Sparrow? He just called you out for being a freaking Jeph Loeb mark.
What are you talking about? He didn't mention
He's the biggest Jeph Loeb mark on the fucking panel. He's clearly talking about you.
I'm not. You're not enticing me into this. I'm not taking the bait. No, I think that Jeph Loeb is when he's good, he's very, very good, and when he's bad, he's awful. And this is I don't think this is the worst thing he's ever written, because I've read Ultimatum. But I think a lot of times he swings and he misses, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he just is way past caring at this point and just sort of phones it in, but or if he just doesn't have it anymore. But it's this is one of the reasons that I wasn't excited when they made the announcement. I was like, cool, we'll get Jim Lee drawing a book for a little while until he doesn't. But I never expected the story to be good, and I didn't like Hush as a villain the first time, and I certainly didn't have any interest in seeing Hush return. And so the announcement was always dead in the water for me, because number one, I don't think Jeph Loeb was going to deliver. And number two, Hush is not a character I'm interested in.
Well, that's another thing from having been doing this for 50 years. I already had 30 years of reading before Hush. So, I mean, I know Hush that's the story for, pretty much an entire generation of Batman fans. But mine goes back, I go back to the 70s, and I'll take Strange Apparitions, or if you want to go a little farther, Cataclysm and No Man's Land. But Aaron, I got to ask, would you shill for Jeph Loeb if he paid off your AEW video game?
I might actually. No, that money has to come from Tony Khan himself with an apology. That is the only way that I will ever let anybody pay.
Personalized, right?
Only way. That's right. I don't even care about that. Just say this: a general statement of "I'm sorry we put out a shit video game that wasn't finished," and then tried to act like it was good, just like we put out a lot of product that isn't finished and try to act like it's good on the greatest run of shows ever. You know, this is our best run of shows I think in a long time. You know, that's the thing that he always comes out and says. So no.
Okay. What's worse, the AEW video game or the Avengers video game starring Kamala Khan?
I never played that. I knew that was going to be a train wreck. So as soon as I saw the character designs the first time, I was like, "Oh, what are we doing?" So
what if they
I never
crossed
played that.
over?
I can't compare to. Oh, see, that'd be good. You could ride Darby Allin on his skateboard around.
Kamala Khan versus Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, that'd be way better.
So it feels like your enormous glowing review of 158 didn't stick for 159 anymore. Dylan, are you sticking around with the book?
I give it an enormous glowing review of 158.
You said it was amazing. I was like,
I did not say that. I said it was good. I didn't say it was amazing. I said it was good. But yeah, 159 is not good, and I would not recommend reading it. It was a mess, and it was a lot of been there, done that, and very apparent that Jeph Loeb doesn't really care. But Jim Lee got to do more of this issue, so at least there's that.
The art's still good. Jim Lee's still got it. He's not quite like peak Hush, but he's still pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nice I read this week's like Last Halloween from Jeph Loeb, and it was also very retreadish, kind of like what we're getting in Hush. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have a new Batman story to tell.
Probably not.
But isn't the Long Halloween, Last Halloween more of a tribute to Tim Sale's life than? I mean, the story's just kind of. I mean, the story's good, not great, but it's.
That's more what it is. Ring's right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it for what it is, and that but yeah, I said
it's more of an homage than you have the different artists, using that style and trying to ape it. It's more for that.
And Batman Hush 2 is an homage to Suck.
Sully, you got to be the one guy that's willing to defend this book, right?
You didn't read the first issue, remember? You read
I
the fart comic.
Come on, Dylan. Cut me some slack, kiddo. Whatever. But no, I went back and read it. I thought the art was really good in this issue. It looks like it has like the feel of it if it was drawn with actual pencils, papers, and inks. It's got a really beautiful details in there, really good texture. I really dug the art a lot. I love the return of the yellow oval. I'm a sucker for that. Of course, we're all making fun of Riddler's, look there. No, it's major. I said major force. I meant major disaster. He looks like major disaster. And just it's clunky.
He's definitely been putting some time in at the gym.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and but the art's very impressive. The story is, I think Jim Werner has a succinct definition. It's called a bitch basic.
Basic bitch.
Bitch, thank you.
Actually, with people who really don't like Hush too, I mean, it's kind of like Hush. Like the original Hush isn't the greatest of stories. It just kind of, gets towards a deal, and it's just Batman the whole time yelling. In that one, it's not Tommy Elliott. Can't be Tommy Elliott. Not Tommy Elliott. And then at the end, it's Tommy Elliott. Now he's yelling, "Oh my God, Tommy Elliott!" Like Dylan said. I mean, the guy can't think that he stubs his toe and it's not Tommy Elliott fucking around moving furniture. And I think that by the end, the play is it's not Tommy Elliott. It's going to be something else.
It's going to be somebody else.
Yeah, because it's so heavy-handed. Yeah, it's like
Russell Gould or something.
So I think it's like almost the exact thing. You're going to go through all these issues just to have them at the end.
It's going to be Clayface.
So,
or what if
it's Alfred?
That's what I'm saying. What if it is Tommy Elliott, but this time he does the surgery to look like Alfred?
That'd be crazy.
And it takes off the bandages.
The only reason he knows is because he makes a real shit cucumber sandwich. He's like, "Here you go, sir."
How many
didn't cut the crust off, Alfred?
Alfred always cuts it diagonally because that's how I like it. He separates it and he puts chips in the middle. Some Fritos. You're not Alfred. I'm the world's greatest detective.
Who are you?
Where's the ball?
That would be great, if Tommy Elliott becomes Alfred, and that's how they get him back into the Batman comic books.
It's like, you can have Zatanna mind wipe him. It's like, you now believe you're Alfred Pennyworth. It would be like this ironic ending. That would be, why do we write better stories than these paid professionals?
No idea. So, Jim, are you with Team Breen here?
That workshop stuff.
That Batman should just kill, well, maybe not kill Joker, but just let him die?
The thing is, again, and people were talking in the chat, the idea of Batman killing back in the day, a lot of it was, I accidentally pushed him. He tripped and fell off that building. I'm clear here. But there's times when, he should probably just say, you know what? I'm not killing him by just letting it. If he puts himself in a situation, let him die. Just let it happen. You didn't do it, and just move on. I mean, but he won't do that because of what he is, but yet he's, watched a lot of his Robins die. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And that's where Jason should really be mad all the time, is the idea. It's not just leaving the Joker live, but it's the stretches that he goes to actually save the Joker that seems well beyond a lot of times he does for anybody else. But yeah, I would look the other way. I'm like, when you end up having, he needs some sort of, crazy drug. And I'm like, don't have anything in the belt today. And then walk away. That's what I would do.
But he did leave KG Beast in a cave to bleed out and die. And a lot of people are like, hey, Batman's got a no-kill rule. Technically, he's actively killing the man by leaving him there.
No, it's just the idea that KG Beast can't get himself out and get a meal is what killed him then. And I hate when they retcon. Tom King legit was going to kill KG Beast. He was going to leave KG Beast in Siberia and have him die. And then he had to go back and retcon because people like Tom King doesn't realize these controversies have happened before because he doesn't read shit, but ends up where suddenly a place where nobody could get to, even though Batman walked across pretty much all of Russia, on foot to get there. But he said nobody can get there. KG Beast is going to die, and then had to come back and say, actually, it was being monitored by like the FBI, and they came in and grabbed him. It was nonsense. But yeah, I think sometimes he should just kind of walk away.
Would you be equal to that, Sully? Does Batman not have a duty, with his vow to help somebody that's injured?
Oh, let's see. It's Batman is this weird, amalgam of his 80 years of story, whether it's radio, comics, or film. So when I think of that, my first thought goes to Batman Begins in Christian Bale and saying, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you either. And I love that because he's right. And but Batman going out of his way to get Joker, to save Joker. And you know what? I don't like Jeph Loeb writing Batman in this right now, because Batman literally is and always is the smartest person in the room, and he's not in this story.
He hasn't been that in years, Sully. The guy ends up where he loses Gotham every weekend. He ends up never knowing. He's always everything that happens. It's always whatever it is. He's like, what? I've never heard of them. Ever since Court of the Owls, you have like 80 other crazy organizations. What? I never knew of them. I didn't know the League of Assassins, Shadows / this, that, and the other thing. Then when he is right, it's the most ridiculous shit, like Shush, where you have that character Shush. I know he connected to Hush, and you're like, really? That would be the stupidest thing ever. And then it was right, because he gets those things right.
What was the one that Ram V brought up in tech? Not Orcus, not the
Orgum family.
The Orgum family.
Again, yeah, he was surprised there as well.
Whoa.
All of a sudden he's a wolf man. You have no idea what's going on. He doesn't know, but he can jump off the moon.
I find that I find that plausible because he's Batman and he's got everything thought out. You've seen Clark do it a half a dozen times.
Even this week in the Detective Comics with Al Ewing writing, there's that closed, room mystery that's hardly closed. And then later on in the middle of the issue, the police end up at York in England, not York, PA. That's a cesspool. But you end up where they end up saying this deal of, hey, everybody's inside. They're not allowed out. We have this big thing going on. Batman walks in. The first thing he says is, where is everybody? Nobody's out on the street. I'm like, they just told you that they're all inside. Plus, there's this crazy villain of, he's not deadly, but he touches you and makes you scream. I'm like, That's the worst villain ever. I'm telling you, it reminded me of Sully. I don't know. Walking around Boston at night. It's crazy.
Like Zoolander Batman. Yeah. But why male models?
Yeah.
I just told you, Derek.
And they end up, a lot of these writers, Batman knows everything until he knows nothing, because they can't get any way to set things up. And then he's blindsided constantly.
We get plot armor, then we have anti-armor.
I'm really enjoying Batman and Robin, but he is completely unaware of anything that's actually happening.
To be fair, in that one, he's tripping balls like the entire time. So that's not.
Philip Kenny Johnson does a better job than that. A lot of times in Joshua Williamson's deal, because he wanted to elevate Damian, he made Batman pretty much adult. Batman would have to be told or given everything that he did, but Philip Kenny Johnson's doing and making it so that he's tripping balls. I mean, he doesn't.
How long is he going to trip balls on this Gravedigger's Poppy? It's been like 2 months now.
Man, you ever been on the Gravedigger's Poppy, Wes? I'm telling you, it's far out.
Just once, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You woke up with a quarter on your ass, but you end up where all this stuff going on. Like, that is a good device where he's out of his mind. It makes me laugh. Yeah. And again, that's where me and Dylan finally do agree, because I think Batman and Robin is still my favorite book.
That's the book to read if you want a Batman book.
I really like it. And I'll say, when reading the Long Halloween, there was actually, like, besides last Halloween, the Holiday Killer, push it aside, it's actually a really good Batman and Robin book as well. It feels a lot like a year one again. But boy, there were some moments in this issue that were really well played, where Batman goes to his mom's grave, and then starts saying to her, I'm trying to be a good father, but I'm not like you. I can't do it like you. I wish I could, but I'm going to keep him safe. It's like, it really wasn't forced. It really showed you Batman knows his limitations. He's like, I can't really give him the love he needs, but I'm going to protect him. I'll keep him safe, which was really good.
The Robin stuff has been the best part of the last Halloween.
Yeah,
I loved it when he just went and like baited Catwoman to coming out and beat the shit out of her to bring her to Batman. Was so good. I love that.
He's great, man. It's really good. Even this issue, Batman's beating the crap out of him. He has a sling on and his shoulder, and then he
throws definitely child abuse.
Then he wallops him. It's like, I'm back.
And when you look at Batman's face, he's in concussion protocol. He is done. He is so well, and then basically throws shade at him. But at the end, kind of has that moment. And that's the thing also in that book. It shows you why you need Alfred. Alfred is so good between those two. And it's a really good book. It's not quite a Last Halloween, Long Halloween, but for a book that's just giving you the art and a really good Batman and Robin, I really like it.
Yeah.
I prefer the Robin stuff from Dark Victory, although he is a smaller part in that one.
Mm-hmm. I always like young Dick Grayson. Pretty cool.
So you're reading the other Batman Robin year one?
Yeah, it's good. I like it. I know people don't like Mark Waid, but it's good. I don't think it was that necessary. We kind of already had it, but it's good for what it is. But I think
very redundant with the Batman line. A lot of
it has
stories.
It is, and that's the thing. Once you start reading, the Last Halloween, they kind of blend in together at times with different stuff, but it's kind of the same play. In that one, though, you get the classic where Batman is like trying to really tell Dick some really important stuff. He's like, listen, you have to do that. And then the camera pans out and Dick's doing pirouettes and backflips and shit on rails and stuff. It actually makes me laugh every time. But most of the deal, I really do like that year one stuff anyway. So it's kind of my thing.
Very cool. Yeah, so you think right now, Dylan, Batman and Robin is the Batman book to read, though?
100%. It's my favorite book of DC. It's really good.
Mine too.
Yeah. And
over Superman?
Yeah, it's definitely better than Superman.
And Green Lantern?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Green Lantern's been getting too overcrowded. I still like Green Lantern, but there's a bit. I want more focus on Hal because it's been a bit too much of like, here's everyone.
That's why I like having the Green Lantern core book. You shove that in, and I really like the Green Lantern core book, but it should be the book with everybody else. Yeah,
exactly. Really that's what's annoying because that's what I thought when we got Green Lantern core. It's like, okay, that's where you throw everyone else to, and then we got the Hal book. But no, then it's still you got all these other people.
Yeah.
But issue 22 was pretty spectacular, though.
It was really good. Green Lantern's still really good, but I
like an event.
I like Batman Robin a little bit better.
I do too. It's still my favorite.
Breener, are you reading any of these modern DC books? I know you're not really touching Marvel these days. Are you reading any of those?
Yeah, my first question was, is that really Nort at the end?
That I'm with you. I kind of think that's a weird play, and it might be a dupe.
I am reading Superman because I'm guessing Dylan won't agree with me on this. But I like that they're doing something kind of uniquely different with Lex. That I love the last issue where they showed the flashback that, you know, Lex set all this in motion, you know, because he is, you know, he's the bad guy, and he did it to defeat Superman a different way. But since he lost his memory, he kind of likes the fact that he's not that guy anymore. And it's going to be interesting to see how they handle him once he gets all his marbles back. Because I said it's something different. Again, 50 years, I've seen a million different ways to present Lex Luthor. The, you know, armor with the, you know, thing, you know, with the pet cone of shame on it or whatever, I don't like. You know, I like the, you know, billionaire businessman Lex. I kind of like this one, but yeah. So yeah, I'm reading that, and a couple of the side Batman books. They had Dark Patterns. I am reading Green Lantern Corps, Justice League Unlimited, Justice Society. Although, you know, I'm kind of agreeing with a lot of people are saying, you know, can we please have something happen?
Yeah.
And Justice League, I got that when we did our last video together, Wes, and so when I got the 3 Justice Leagues that had already come out, it's okay, but it reminds me of Hickman's Avengers that I called Oprah's Avengers. Everybody is in the league now.
Yeah. And
they're all hanging out on this one big giant satellite, and I don't know, just because in the 60s when they did the Justice League stories, they would go fight the villains and they'd send them off 2 at a time. This kind of was almost like a callback to that, but it was kind of bland in the 60s. And yeah, I'm not sure it's much better today. I don't know. Something's just missing with that. I mean, it's good enough to keep reading, but yeah, so I'm reading about 8 or 10 DC books, I think.
Did you check out Aquaman?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anything Jeremy Adams' name's attached to, I will read. Yeah, I love Flash Gordon. Yeah, I love Green Lantern. And I know on Green Lantern Corps, he's basically just giving that other guy something to go by. And I expect him to, you know, weed himself off of that book sooner rather than later, which will make the entire Green Lantern Corps feel like the backup story in the World's Finest Annual, which I thought was derivative. We've seen a million times before. Can anybody do anything different? No. So then that'll be the end of Green Lantern Corps. But
so what's your number 1 DC book? Dylan's saying it's Batman and Robin.
I think the one I look forward to the most right now is Superman, and especially if Lois's powers are gone for good, because I'm absolutely with you on that. I'm tired of superhero families. I'm tired of spouses with superpowers. She's powerful enough in her own right without having superpowers. But I don't know. There's about 6 or 8 that I really enjoy, and then the miniseries that come and go. But I'd say right now probably Superman.
I think I'm still on Green Lantern, but Superman, Green Lantern, and Batman and Robin are all really good right now.
New Gods too.
New Gods is good, but it's also annoying because you get 6 pages of bullshit in the beginning of every book.
Oh, I like those. I like the little, break, the different artists.
Resurrection Man had a good start. I'm looking. That's coming out.
Yeah,
next week. I'm hoping that is just as good as.
Oh, and that's going to be Butch Juice's last book, I think. Maybe he was on that. Guys, is it Guys?
I like Juice.
Juice
is loose, baby.
I thought Jackson and Butch were brothers for like the longest time. Same dude.
Yeah, that would hurt.
This is like Christopher Priest, right? Like people kept changing their names, and you're like, "Hey, this Priest guy, he kind of writes like Jim Owsley."
He's like, that James Owsley guy's pretty cool. I don't like this Priest.
This Akira guy, Marvel's got, seems kind of familiar.
I'm gonna.
So Jim,
pretty soon you're gonna see Kneel Before Doomface by Johnny Delicious. And you're gonna be like, "Who's this guy?"
I like this Johnny Delicious. He reminds me of a young Aaron Sparrow.
Jim, what do you think is the number one DC book right now?
Yeah, Batman and Robin. I really like Batman and Robin, but I also really like Superman, Green Lantern Corps. There's a lot of like second. I didn't really love it at first, but I'm starting to like Green Arrow a little more. I actually think that DC has a lot of really good books, unlike Marvel. And stuff to find one. I mean, Marvel.
What say you, Sully? You're going on the Batman and Robin team?
I'm not reading it. I have. I hear it's. You guys rave about that book, so maybe I should give it a chance. I mean, when Joshua Williamson started it, it was a complete miss for me, and I really didn't dig on the art either. But I heard that's probably DC's most improved ongoing has got to be Batman and Robin because of the buzz you guys talk about. I'm loving and look forward to Green Lantern. That's every month. That is such a pleasure to read. Great art, fun. It's just fun. And Jeremy Adams makes fun stories. And also, I love New Gods. New Gods is just completely my cup of tea. It's smart. It's like
I just want more pages of Mr. Miracle and Orion.
That's the best what I want.
There. You only get 4 pages an issue,
and that seems like it's always the backup to everything else. And then I think it was Darkseid in the comments end up saying Aquaman as well. I do like Aquaman. It's so early. I can't say that it's my favorite book. It's just
I like pissed off, angry Aquaman though. It's kind of working for me.
Yeah.
Good. Got like a violent streak to him. Sparrow, you gonna break the tie? We've got 2 for Batman and Robin, 2 for Green Lantern right now. You got a fake?
No, I don't. Oh! If we're throwing Green Lantern in there, then yeah, Green Lantern wins. I was gonna say if we're just deciding Batman books, then I can't help.
No, it's just all the DC books.
I don't read any of the Batman books anymore. No, Green Lantern and Aquaman are the only DC books that I'm buying right now.
Well, Robin's really good. Dark Patterns is good too. There's some good Batman books out right now.
Dark Patterns.
I might check out Batman and Robin because you guys are
Batman and Robin's good. And Dion asked if it was selling poorly. It is not selling great, but I think it was because they didn't give him a new number 1. They should have given him a new number 1, but I think they're going to
Plus, it's like the number 4 Batman book.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
You got Batman, Detective, Batman, Superman, and then Batman and Robin.
The word I hear is that in September they're going to renumber a bunch of things and possibly Philip Kennedy Johnson. They'll do a Marvel and keep the same creative team, but give them a number 1 then. So it might help. Yeah.
My biggest disappointment right now, though, Dylan, at DC, I want to know what your thoughts are on this one. I just cannot get with this Nightwing book.
Oh, this last issue was awful.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh my goodness, that last it's been getting worse steadily, and then this last issue was a huge drop. It's literally just the Dexter Soy art is great, and that's it. It's this Dick Grayson is pathetic. It's so bad.
I haven't liked it from the beginning, and I got a lot of shit for saying like I really don't like this. And I think a lot of people reacted to the idea they didn't like that Tom Taylor kind of did nothing. He kind of just said Dick Grayson's great, and then kept going with it. But boy, that whole thing with the Teddies and the Flyboys, and then I wanted them back. When we get this message, like you have this big thing going on in the Clean Cut crew, which I do believe Aaron is the head of. You end up where you're like, okay, this is going, and then all of a sudden we get this side story, and you're like, oh, there's the ghost cop who's and I'm like, really? Also, he kept saying if he doesn't realize, but this is a urban legend. Dick Grayson was a cop in Bloodhaven. He would know this. He seems to not, and there's a lot of wacky stuff going on. I just thought it was a huge miss. And I've been saying it from the beginning. Me and Wes even talking about it each week. I've not really liked an issue. We thought it was funny with the Teddies, but when you go down as the basic core of it, and the foundation is the idea that a kid in a mask pulled a gun on a cop. The cop shoots him, and it's like, oh my God, what a bad cop. And then in this last story, you have to then pile on this guy to make
everything by the book.
What the heck? It's like, by the book. Oh, he beats his kids by the book. He's this. I'm like, what happened? Like all of a sudden, this guy who's just doing things. Now we have to, after the fact, establish he's a real piece of shit. This guy. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it all ends up being the idea of Dick Grayson saying, they got to end up getting due process, and he's not this, and I agree with that, and he's all over the place. I like at one point in the series, he goes to Maggie Sawyer and starts yelling about, this is this and this, and they're like, do you have any evidence? shit, no, and then walks away. I'm like, yep, not very good. Then giving out, here's your, little calm. Here's your beeper. He's giving them to everybody in town. It's not good.
And continuing on with his sister, they should have just got rid of her. I don't know why he kept her around. She was stupid in Tom Taylor's run. Just get rid of her.
They should have had her, like, at some point. She wasn't necessarily bad, but she had to go and, she had to hide out. Something was gone wrong. Everybody's coming after her. And
Isn't she the mayor of Bloodhaven?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, you can easily just get rid of her.
Get Dee Bennett, Pirate Queen, get her ass, get them both in a boat, and they fucking go off the side of the earth, right? Because it's
Pirate Princess.
Get rid of her.
Princess shit. And then all of a sudden, Dick Grayson, I can't leap anymore. And it's all nonsense. My favorite character. And I'm like, what has happened to him? Yeah, I don't even want to run around with guys with fucking big teddy bear hats and fly boys.
It's been bad.
It's bad. It is bad. People still tell me all the time when I end up reviewing it, and they're like, it's the best book of DC. I'm like,
I think people want to like the book.
I wanted to like it when it first came out. I was like, what, Tom Taylor's gone, the art's real nice. I was excited, and then just steadily it got worse and worse. And I went back and reread all the issues. Like, this has been bad from the beginning. It's so bad.
You got furries versus, Dan Warner.
I don't know why he wrote to where the cop was justified. The kid pulled a gun on and shot at him. He should have just had, like, the kids, like, I don't know, stealing food for his family or something.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all you have to do. You have him there where the kid ends up where he's doing maybe spray painting the wall.
Yeah.
And then he turns around with the spray paint. The guy hits him. Yeah, the guy shoots him with. Now he does shoot him with like a missile launcher.
Oh, it's hilarious. He nukes him. It's hilarious. He gets shot with like a 9mm, and then he returns with like a nuke in return. Just
I'm surprised
obliterates him. I don't know how the boy's body is still there.
Hits the satellite. A big laser comes down and runs over him with a tank. The thing is, people were like trying to make that a thing. Like, oh, don't you get it? But I'm like, that's what they gave the guy. The guy's walking around Bloodhaven with a missile launcher. As a cop, what is he going to do? He plays by the book. That's what he does. You have your weapon to shoot. That's so weird. I got in so many fights. I legit think the guy I do the podcast with quit because of how mad I got at him. He's like, you can't shoot a kid. I'm like, the guy's got a big giant teddy bear.
He didn't know he was a kid. And he had a big giant mascot.
He shot at him.
Yeah, he shot at him. I'm like, what is he supposed to do? And he has a rocket launcher. You get a little itchy trigger finger when you got shit like that, right?
I think being ride or die for these gangs is so annoying. And it's consistent now where Dick just defends criminals. In the last run, you had just a group of homeless kids that were constantly stealing from the citizens of Bloodhaven, and Dick's like, that's fine. They just, they need the money more than the people that are living paycheck to paycheck in Bloodhaven. So he did nothing about that. And then now you got this going on where with these gangs, it's like, they steal stuff and kill people, but the cops are bad, so I'm gonna defend them. It's fine.
First of all, Dylan, you got to stop calling them criminals. All right, you need to do better. You need to step up.
A criminal's just a friend you haven't met yet. And this is the worst. And Dylan's right. Like in the Tom Taylor deal, you can sum it up of him kind of driving around throwing free pizza to everybody and money out the back and thinking everything's great. At one point tears down a whole prison and then lets the criminals are still out. I think that's why he feels bad. Half these guys are the ones that let out and then ends up, being nice to these because they're kids. Oh, it's nonsense. And then I guess somebody in the Slack, I guess King KDI or the comments said that people were against the Tom Taylor stuff, but that doesn't mean that whatever, because Dick Grayson of all iterations in Nightwing is my favorite character, and it's a joke. I just sit there, I'm like, this isn't Dick Grayson. This is not. He's a great guy, but he's not a guy who's just going to overlook all of that just to be like, okay, I'm gonna die on this hill of helping these kids who are going around shooting people and stuff.
I'm gonna empty out the prisons of Bloodhaven.
I'm tired of sympathetic villains too. I want bad guys who are bad, evil guys who are evil. Instead, you have the Teddies they're all kids that were given a better life by the Teddies. You got the bug dudes that were all taken advantage by one scientist. They're not that bad. Yeah, you've got like every villain has a sympathetic backstory where they're actually just put in this position or like the system held them down or whatever. Yeah, it's not just they're bad guys being bad.
They're just bad people. And even when it's like, I hate when you have these issues, and Tom Taylor does it in Detective now, but he doesn't. It's the idea if one person's doing something bad, that doesn't mean the other person isn't also doing something bad. You have a lot of times where one person will be like, I'm going to kill this guy, but because he's worse than me. And then Batman's like, you're right. And that one scene where the kid's stealing cars, but because his stepdad might beat his mom, then he's the worst guy and we're going to go after him. But this kid's fine. I'm like, no, they're both bad. They both should be, in trouble. And even then, a kid who's stealing cars might actually lie. Batman doesn't look into it. He just goes whole off, because in Tom Taylor book, it has to be black and white. He's obviously doing that. But you have to force those issues in to be like, oh man, that guy is a piece of shit. But like Dylan said, some criminals, the best ones are the people who are just like, fuck it, I am bad and I'm going to destroy shit. It doesn't have to be retroactively put in I just looked at his internet history. This guy's really sus, so I think he's bad. Like shit like that, which I do think happened to Nort. That's why he's in hell. He has the sus things he goes online about, because I don't know why he's in hell.
Dylan, you just need to read Kneel Before Doomface then, because he's bad because he enjoys
it.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
His greatest aspiration is to be the greatest villain of all time.
There we go.
I remember reading a Superman story where like Lex Luthor was kind of like a competitive chess player, I guess, when he was a kid. And he felt like there was this other guy that he couldn't beat, so he went and murdered his dog, so he would be emotionally distraught so he could beat him. Like in the tournament,
play hockey. That's cool. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a good villain. He's obviously disturbed. He's a bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when you actually have a villain, and at the end they realize we couldn't figure it out at first. We said, this guy's just bad. Like there is no motive besides this guy's insane and bad and wants everybody to die.
Well, you can have your motive, like, your villain can have their inciting incident where something happened to them that made them bad, but they still made the choice to be bad.
Yeah, they're
and
bad.
They continue to make the choice to be bad. We need to get away from this idea that somehow having trauma justifies every horrible thing that you do from that point forward. No, that's not the way that it works.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we get off. Like I said, I keep coming back to Sopranos. Sopranos has ruined two generations of fiction writers. With restaurant scenes, eating over mundane scenes, and especially the therapeutic voyage. You know what I mean? It worked for Sopranos, but having comic books be your stand-in for your therapist is boring. That's like you're talking about Thunderbolts, going back to like, it's all about depression. Like, you know what? For me, that's like, I want some escapism. I don't want to hear about your depression. I want to just see heroes fighting bad guys. And, but like Aaron said, I'm all about it.
I'm as miserable as anybody. If I wrote a comic, I would want to have heroes and villains and kind of, man, I wish it was kind of this. That's why, but I don't want to do that. That's why I'm going to read Doomface, because that's what I want. You have a really bad, and really a lot of times what happens is, a hero is really based on his villain. Like you end up with a good hero always has a great villain. And vice versa, and it really plays off each other. When you have Batman in that one, I think it was the annual, where he goes and there's a bunch of people riding and he just knows they need a hug and goes up and starts hugging people. I'm like, what the fuck is this? or going past a building, and I might have been Dan Waters, I can't remember who it was, but goes past a building that's being broken apart and riot, and they have insurance.
Gary Whitta.
Yeah, Gary Whitta. Yeah, that's who I was saying. Like, let's keep rolling. They got insurance. Fuck this. And,
mostly peaceful riders.
Why? Yeah. I don't understand why far leftists are so enamored with criminals. Why they think that they're so it's like you do think that like if you kowtow and you lick their boots, like they won't eventually prey on you too. Is that what you think?
No, and again, I'm not as conservative as most people here, but the idea is, a lot of people think that any villain has to be because somebody did them wrong in a way that could be fixed. But sometimes this stuff is just the person. Some people end up being bad.
Aaron, about 20-something years ago, when St. Timothy Thomas with his 14 priors was killed by cops, we had the term was riots, but it was renamed Citizen Uprising. In downtown Cincinnati, and a friend of mine who was a bleeding heart liberal got caught in them. A couple of the uprisers jumped up on his car. He's shouting, "But I'm on your side! I'm on your side!" as they bashed his car to pieces. So I said, sometimes,
it's Oingo Boingo had a song about this called Only a Lad.
Weird Science?
And it was Weird Science. Only a Lad, which is, the whole thing is just like excusing the behavior of this kid that's just, he's a criminal and he enjoys being a criminal and he likes hurting people. He gets off on it. And the whole song is about how everybody's making excuses for him. Oh, he's underprivileged and abused, perhaps a little bit confused, and it's like, it's not his fault that he can't behave. Society's made him go astray.
It's like excitable boy.
Go away. Yeah, and that's like the mentality. It's like, look, I understand everybody's got trauma. Some people choose not to make continually bad choices and to hurt other people because of it.
Yeah. And some of the best things that you get is when people think they're doing Batman a favor. But then they go too far. But the idea of, I'm like you, Batman, I kill everybody. You don't get it, buddy. But there's bad people. Bad people take things different.
I also hate this idea that audiences can't get behind or root for a villain. I hate when the premise for a book is like, here's all these bad guys. And then you start reading it and it's, oh, they're all actually good and misunderstood. Like Suicide Squad as of late is always just each one of them has a reason for why they're at, and it's actually a justifiable good reason. Or Book of Boba Fett, where it's like Boba Fett's not actually that bad of a guy. He's got a heart of gold. Same with Creature Commandos. They did the same thing with that recently, where it's like all the Creature Commandos are misunderstood and were put here for reasons that were beyond their control. I want to just have bad guys that I read about. Like audiences can get behind bad guys and are fine with it. You don't have to be like, no one's going to cheer for this guy unless he's actually good or misunderstood or has a heart of gold. It annoys me to no end.
It really started at points when I saw like, oh man, Batman shouldn't punch the Riddler. He's got mental issues. I'm like, he also needs to be punched. It's a comic book universe. That's what it is. You don't have to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to do this, whatever. It's nice that sometimes Batman will look into things afterwards. But in the meantime, you don't even have that. He can't punch anybody. Afterwards, he just lets him rot somewhere anyway and just punch him. I like when Batman was punching Harper Row. Right in the face, just a teenage girl punches them right in the face. It's great. But yeah, everybody's gonna hug it out.
Remember the hammers of justice are unisex.
Yeah.
The Boba Fett is cool because he has a code of honor, because he's a Mandalore and obviously he's a bounty hunter or whatever, but he's also cool because he's so dangerous and he will do whatever it is to get the bounty.
Yeah. He doesn't have a good or bad. He's just wherever the money is, he'll do whatever it takes. And that's what I like. That's what there's that one Dark Horse Boba Fett issue where he comes into a conflict and then like messes everything up. And he ends up fighting for both sides because of different reasons and leave. And at the end, the citizens of that planet are like, wow, Boba Fett he's not what I thought. He's not good or bad. He just goes where the credits are. And it was really cool.
Django pretty much spells out his view of the universe, and that's what later becomes imparted to Boba, through the lessons that he learns watching his dad get killed, which is just, I don't care about your sides. I don't care. Like, I can't get involved in all that. I am just a simple man trying to make his way in the universe. It's like, that's what I'm doing. And that's what he does. I don't care about your conflicts. I don't care what your reasons are. Somebody's paying me to bring you in. That's what I'm going to do. And they took a lot of that in that first season of The Mandalorian and stitched a lot of Boba Fett onto The Mandalorian, which is why I think that they didn't have anywhere to go when they did Book of Boba Fett. And just the conceptual ideas of what they were doing with him was bad.
Yeah, but now
that guy doesn't want to rule. He doesn't want to rule anything. He doesn't want to run anything, and he certainly doesn't want to be a kinder, gentler crime lord. It's like that guy doesn't want to be king. That guy just wants to be a bounty hunter.
Turns out the whole time he was upset with the injustices that Jabba was doing, and he wants to make a better, safer place.
I like it when he becomes Mandalore in the Star Wars universe. He fucking hates it. It makes him miserable.
Mm-hmm. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. That's the whole theme.
Worst thing that ever happened to him. Mm-hmm. He's responsible for other people. In theory. So. Man, we went off in a lot of different directions there. Hush 2. Bit of a disappointment.
Hush 2. Electric Boogaloo. Hey, cat. Oh, you really?
Whose cat is it? Is it Eric's cat or Dylan's cat?
Not mine. He's in the other room.
Definitely got to be Eric's. Yes, he's too happy.
Cat's got some stuff to say about Hush.
I forgot to do this earlier. We have some Thinking Critical Patreon backer shout-outs. My bad. We should have got this done in the first 30 minutes, but better late than never. Welcome to the family, Alexander, a.k.a. the Spatial Surfer himself. protector of the multiverse integrity. Welcome back to Think Critical Patreon. Welcome to the family to Sigma Comics, aka the Calico Protector of New York, and also sponsoring today's video. Definitely go get your hands on Calico Morality Play, available on Kickstarter right now. And thank you very much to Michael Dool, aka Viper Strike, Protector of Venom Reach, upgrading his play on Patreon today, getting some more awesome podcasts. And then welcome back to David, aka Just Dave, Protector of San Francisco. If you are interested in backing Think Critical YouTube on the Patreon, there's a link in the video description. And we do have a few things here. We got Kalichioki says DC doesn't have the balls for Batman to snap Joker's spine. It's technically not deleting Joker, just leaving him as a vegetable. What do you think? Is that a viable workaround to just leave him in a vegetative state?
No, because there's a million different ways that he'll just get healed and he'll be back. So it doesn't work. That doesn't work. He'll get thrown somewhere where he'll just get saved. And just like Barbara. Barbara's not in a wheelchair no more. Something would happen. He'd be back. So it's, that could easily happen with Joker.
Like a yellow lantern ring.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Neuralink comes along.
He'll have an exoskeleton.
Fixing Joker.
He'll get blood from young prisoners.
Oh yeah, and heal himself up.
Heal himself up.
He'll be like Christopher Reeves on South Park, cracking open fetuses and sucking the stem cells out of them.
Exactly. You believe a man can walk?
Edgy. That's something that Scott Snyder would think was super edgy.
What do you think, Sparrow? At this point, should Batman just let Joker die? He saved his life as many times as he saved anybody else in Gotham.
He should have killed the Joker a bunch of times, but this is comics, and these characters have to go on. They're corporate IP, so you can't ever really change the status quo. That's what it all comes down to. Is there's no story reason for Batman not to kill the Joker. There really isn't, and there's no moral justification. I mean, we kind of like play in the margins to make it justified that he doesn't do it, that he doesn't cross that line. And I do like the idea of the reason I don't cross that line is because it would be too easy, and then I would continue to cross it, and Batman would just
you'd be addicted to murder.
Yeah, so I do understand that as a justification in this world, but but this is a comic book world. You can't take our real world kind of sensibilities and apply them to a comic book universe, because these stories have to go on, and the Joker is a character that future generations need to discover, and but like I always say, this is just very much a product of the modern time. The idea that these characters continue to go on. This is the only time in history that you've ever had a publication history for forever, almost, it seems, for these characters. Some stories weren't meant to go on forever. Stories are meant to end.
But what about this, Sparrow? We have the 3 Joker story. At least in that story, there's 3 physical entities as the Joker, 3 different versions of him. He starts whacking off the Jokers, and he thinks he's whacking off.
Phrasing, buddy, phrasing. Whatever, you had a very different 3 Jokers than I did, apparently.
Whatever, man. But like a new Joker just keeps coming along. It's like this idea that he can't stop.
Yours was polybag,
new Jokers.
Yeah, but then you have to reestablish a new Joker each time, and you have to make him different enough to make him not the same as the previous one, and I don't think that's satisfying. I don't think that works. I don't think that that's one of the reasons that Hickman's X-Men story ultimately didn't work, is because the idea that the X-Men are no longer the X-Men. They're clones of the X-Men with memories downloaded into them. And the original X-Men that we all loved, they're dead and gone. It removes the stakes. It removes your connection to the characters.
Yeah, somebody said they could call him the Jonkler after Batman was done with him.
The Jonkler.
Listen, guys, that's not what I meant, and you know that. And I don't know. Yeah, these guys, you gotta have dirty minds. Chris Creative says they keep making Joker more and more of a serial killer, sadistic. What's the offering for that? Joker puts 40,000 people in the ground, let him pass? I don't know, man. The night that he set out all the... Wait, no, I guess that was Harley that did all the Christmas presents to the kids and then exploded them.
Yeah, but she's good now because she's gay, so...
Yeah, that's why she's a hero, just like Jubilee is a hero because she's half Chinese. There's the people that are doing these comics don't understand morality. They're filled with moral relativism. So it's like whatever it is that they say. The Joker, he tells a story. I can't remember if it might be Grant Morrison Justice League, where he talks about how the mob pissed him off, So he killed all the mob's kids. Like he sent stuff to their schools, and he killed not only them, but he killed everybody in their classroom. And the mob is like burying their kids, and he rigged all the coffins so that during the funerals they popped up on springs and shot the dead kids up out of the out of the coffins. How does society not kill that guy? How does the mob not kill that guy? Like somebody is gonna kill that guy.
Yeah,
guarded Arkham.
Yeah, a guard at Arkham would just beat him to death and be a hero. And sure, he'd get charged, but eventually, it's like with
the up and coming gangster, just like in The Wire, when Omar gets, remember Omar in The Wire? Anyone?
Yeah, That's most senseless yet tragic death, and maybe in TV history.
Oh man, but he had it coming though, and it was just some kid trying to get some street cred, and it's so basic and plausible.
And the guys on trial, they're like, "Sir, why did you kill the Joker?" He's like, "Well, he spring-loaded my child's body after he murdered him, and he flung up at the funeral. And at that moment, I knew I was going to kill the man." Like, shit seems pretty legit.
Yeah,
probably going to have to drop these.
DC could do a story where it begins with them finding the Joker's body and he's legitimately dead, and then do like a 12-issue thing about who killed the Joker. You could spotlight one person an issue that would have had a legitimate reason to work your way back, and then find out who did it at the end. And then, like I said, since the Joker's backstory is muddled, you just have somebody pick up the mantle. You're still stuck with a killing machine like the Joker, but the one that I said crippled Barbara, killed Sarah Essen, killed, like I said, 40,000 people, give or take. At least that one would be off the board. And as long as the other one looked like it, people get used to it. But at least there'd be some satisfaction because, again, Batman, by taking that stance, basically wipes out all the good he does by consigning hundreds, if not thousands of people to death every time he saves this guy.
He did also, though, basically kill him in Endgame when he was immortal. He's like, we're just going out together at the end of Endgame from Scott Snyder. The New 52, where he's just like, they're there at that pool, and he's just like, all right, we're going out together. That was a nice finale. I like that. And they just pop, and then, of course,
what would be an interesting story is you have the Joker found dead, and then you go through Batman's investigation, and it's all the suspects that you would expect. All the people that the Joker, has been connected to or has wronged over the years, all the other villains that he's double crossed, and Batman's going through all that. And then at the end, you find out it is just a regular guy. It's a father that lost somebody, lost his kid to something that the Joker did and tracked him down and murdered him. And it's just the idea that it's just a guy. How
about this one, Aaron? What if we go cosmic with this and we find out 10,000 years ago, there was a cosmic being that was representative of a bad, but there was another cosmic being that was representative of a jokester or a prankster, and they've decided to end their big fight on Earth, and it'll play on forever.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Destined.
That doesn't sound like something that I've seen a million times from one particular writer.
That would
was it played out in cave paintings?
Yes,
perhaps.
It's just the cosmic, actually what it is that Batman is a manifestation of God on Earth, and Joker is a manifestation of the devil, and their internal conflict, because that gives it more weight. That makes it bigger and more impressive.
I think it's more impressive when it's smaller and it's more personal.
I think so too, but
the entire city of Gotham would be a suspect. Like he's literally hurt everybody.
Yeah, and even people outside of Gotham, or just
Yeah, good stuff. Dill Lindsay, biggest I was wrong comics moment. I thought Geoff Johns was overrated when I started reading. No one could be that good. And then I read his Green Lantern run and understood that some people are that good.
Boom.
Yep. Now go read Ghost Machine, and you will understand that he is that good.
He's still that good.
Mm-hmm.
That. Geoff Johns, absolutely fantastic. What's is your favorite Doomsday Clock, Dylan? Because I know you're the Superman guy. That one definitely uplifts Superman.
Doomsday Clock is amazing. That's probably my favorite event, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite Geoff Johns book.
It's Up and Away.
Up and Away, yeah, definitely. But if we're going pure, like just Geoff Johns, because he wrote that with Kurt Busiek. I guess I'd probably go with Superman Legion of Superheroes. I really like that one a lot. Where he goes against Earthman, and that's great. That one's really good.
But almost every character he's touched at DC, he's done like almost like a classic story. You can go read his Hawkman, it's good. You can go obviously read his JSA stuff, it's good. His Flash is good. His Green Lantern's good. His Superman is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, everything's good. The only thing of his from DC that I didn't really care for was his Justice League, but then that was good at the end. It's just like the first half of that New 52 was not too great. But then towards the end, when Jason Fabok stuff, Darkseid War was good. Like when we got to Jason Fabok getting on the book, that's when it really hit its stride. But up until then, I didn't really care for that, and I felt like that was one of the weaker Geoff Johns book. But other than that, yeah, he's amazing. He's my favorite writer
of all times.
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice. Gary Frank is your favorite artist?
Yeah, I love what Gary Frank's done. I especially like that he's found his own Superman, because at first it was just Christopher Reeve, and now he's kind of found his own Superman. I like that.
Yeah, Geoff Johns is absolutely fantastic. He's a great starting point if you have somebody that's like new to comic books or interested. You can just start him on any Geoff Johns book because he starts every character at the beginning. Like he brings them down to a low point and then just builds them up. Kind of like what Jeremy Adams is doing recently as well. They're very similar in their style.
Yeah. He's great at writing villains too.
Yeah. He's also really good at finding some like neat little things in the past and like molding them in to make them good. Like a lot of writers like Jason Aaron like fails miserably at that. He really does it good. He elevates things by doing that instead of making it worse.
Well, that's how he restored Green Lantern. Is he looked at what had been done and he said, okay, how do I reconfigure this so that Hal is not at fault for everything that these writers made him do? How do I absolve him? And that's how he came up with Parallax and everything that happened through that run up through the Sinestro Corps War and then into like Blackest Night and Brightest Day.
And a lot
plus,
of
here's another bonus. Here's another bonus about Geoff Johns. Mark Waid hates him, so that should tell you everything you need to know about how awesome Geoff Johns is.
So Sully, you're leaving? You're bouncing out of here?
I have to bounce early. Unfortunately, I have Goodwill coming to pick up 21 boxes of my mother's clothes. I inherited her condo when she passed away last year, and I had to pack up 30 years worth of a person's stuff. So I'm blessed and grateful to have arranged a pickup so they can, have a second life. Mm-hmm. And they're on their way, and so I have to go outside and flag them in basically, and then I get my living room back because currently it looks like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. But let me leave with some funny books from this week that I got. I picked this up. This is called Planet Death, issue number 0. I got it for 99 cents. It's co-written by the guy who did John Wick and Robert Venditti. And it's got some really interesting art. It's from a press I've never heard of. Bad Idea. Yeah. And what I love about this book the most, besides being a cool story and an issue 0, is the paper quality. It's not quite newsprint, but it's got a pulpy feel to it. And the pages aren't glossy, but so the colors look really Bronze Agey to me. I love the way the colors look on this page. So it's a really cool publication. I mean, the colors are still off the chart on this. It's a good book. So if you see it when you go to Free Comic Book Day later, we'll pay 99 cents for an issue 0 and give a new book that you've never heard of a chance. I picked up G.I. Joe Silent Missions Duke. It was pretty good.
Great cover.
Yeah, great cover. I picked up Ultimate Spider-Man 16 on my poll list. Interesting story, Pete. Something that I called, issues ago when all of the shenanigans and deaths started happening. I was like, hey, everybody, this person's in the background. You better keep an eye on that. I picked this up. This was for free that they were giving this away. It's Jimmy Olsen's Super Cyclopedia. And what interested me was the race swap, to be honest. So I'm going to use it to talk about race swaps in comics and in movies tomorrow on my show. But it's a fun issue all the same. Hell Hunters number 5 of 5. I hope there's more. This would be great. I love a World War II comic, and this is Philip Kennedy Johnson. And he was, I think, 20 years in the Army. He was in the Army band. He just recently retired.
He wasn't 20 years, but he was in the
20 years.
Band, yes.
Yeah, so he was in active duty until recently. I think he just left the Army, and but he's got that keen insight and just to the military stuff. So it has this like real nice spin to it, and it's a pretty good action-packed book. and plenty of Bucky being a teenage kind of punk. It's really fun. And the only manga that I read that I get a quarter after quarter is Dragon Ball Super Volume 23 from Viz. This tankobon covers the animated movie Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and it's like Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo versus Cell Max, and I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, and this is my manga. And thank you, Wes. I'm sorry I have to bounce, but yeah, I mean they're on their way, and I'm gonna have to go wait outside. They're coming around the corner, hopefully.
Later, brother.
Thank you so much, guys. See you later, everyone. Thank you, everyone in the chat.
Very nice. Who else we got? We got HH and the folks from Sigma Comics. Shout out to Think Critical and AL. Support the best in the biz. We want everyone to head over to Kickstarter and support Calico Morality Play. Link in the description. Absolutely. And we'll also get that promo up here in a few minutes as well. But really appreciate HH and Sigma Comics supporting the channel by sponsoring today's video. And we will be hanging out very, very soon when we're at Dallas Fan Expo. Or is it Fan Expo Dallas? Have I been saying this wrong the entire time, Aaron?
Dallas Fan Expo. So I think you've been saying it right. I haven't noticed.
Okay, well, maybe he said it wrong because he said Fan Expo Dallas.
I mean, it's either way, it's fine.
Potato. But really appreciate that, brother. And we will see you soon. Carlitos Figueroa. I'm concerned that people justify villains like Magneto, Doom, and Poison Ivy due to their backgrounds. Their past don't excuse mimicking the harmful actions of those who wronged them.
You're supposed to look at a character like Magneto and you're supposed to understand his motivations while still saying that he's drawn the wrong conclusions from them. That's what you're supposed to look at him and say. But unfortunately, people want to reinterpret that and they want to make him the hero. And he's not a hero. He's not a hero. He's certainly justified in the attitude of never again will I let this happen to my people. But is that even popular anymore? Did they take his Jewishness away because now the comic industry is anti-Semitic and super free Palestine? I mean, what do you even do anymore? Is this a character even work anymore? I don't know. But the X-Men don't work anymore. So, it doesn't, at the end of the day, in the current time, it doesn't really matter because none of these things are the same. But, they don't have a solid morality to work from. So you're not going to get characters that work from there. You're not going to get heroic characters because they don't understand the nature of heroism.
Well, the main problem with Magneto is he's done more face and heel turns than Randy Orton or The Big Show. So if you were going to redeem him to a point, which they did, I thought very well in the 80s, they should pick a lane.
And then when they made him a villain again, it worked. The whole Claremont's whole "I'm not Charles Xavier. I will never be Charles Xavier. I was a fool to try, as was he for believing I could succeed." That was a great moment. It was like the villain that became that tried to become the hero and then just realized this is not in me. I am who I am.
Yep.
Yeah, you're supposed to have the defining moment, and then there's the fork in the road. You can go off and turn your pain or struggle into a positive, or you could go down the dark path of the Sith and turn to a life on the dark side. And they don't even really acknowledge it. They just kind of intermingle nowadays. It's kind of weird. Kalichioki, is Batman physically and mentally incapable of killing? I've often pondered that. What do you think, Jim? Is he physically, mentally incapable of killing? Is that the problem?
No. Yeah, he has a code. He if he ends up, he thinks that if he kills somebody in my mind, that he's just going to keep doing it, get worse and worse, and become what he doesn't want. So
he's certainly physically capable.
Yeah. I mean, he shot Jason in the face. He definitely is capable. But yeah, that's what he does. And again, it's more, what they don't want him to do. It's a goofy thing. He's not going to do it. I just don't know why everybody gets all fired up, because as many people who get fired up here about him not killing, there'll be just as many who would get upset if he did. So it's just what they do.
That's why it's a great comic book debate.
Well, what it is, though, is when you have somebody, if he walks away and then the Joker dies, that's a really cool debate where you say, did he actually kill him? He didn't. He did. He should have done this. That's where it gets interesting, but they don't even let that happen. But, yeah.
But we know that he did create a failsafe, Dylan. just in case, because he knew that he was capable of it, and he created that robot to murder himself just in case.
Which is technically killing. He's killing himself, so that undoes his code.
Oh,
but I always found I can't kill because then it's a slippery slope and it'll be too easy and it'll kill again.
Yeah, it'll keep
kind of stupid because it makes him sound like the man with the weakest willpower ever. Like, man, I killed the most evil man of all time. Now I'm going to go kill a shoplifter.
Here's
I
the
just
thing,
can't
though.
help
You
myself.
say that when you end up having people who do end up making rules for themselves, say a priest who's against pornography, it's usually because they can't keep away from pornography. So it might be actually that Batman realizes
jerking off is a lot different than murdering someone.
No, but I'm saying I think that he realizes that if he starts doing it, he's just going to keep doing it. I actually think that makes it better. I really do.
He's a serial killer waiting to happen.
That's the thing, though. It's like, is that really who Batman is? Like the weakest willpower of all time?
He dresses up as a bat and goes out at night and fights things because his mom and dad died. He's fucked up. He's messed up. So I think that he tries to put these things in place for himself. And again, he does this for his mom and dad. I don't think they would like him.
But Superman has a no-kill rule, and I don't think that he struggles with the idea of killing people. I don't think he just wants to do it.
Yeah, but he
killed Doomsday and then wasn't like, I'm going to go murder a million people. Or when he executed Zod and his boys in that pocket dimension, he then didn't come back and be like, now I'm going to execute Parasite. Now I'm going to kill everyone.
What happens in pocket dimension stays in pocket dimension.
So you guys are legit saying that you think Superman and Batman are the same kind of guys? There's no way.
But I'm saying like Batman is touted as this guy as having like an amazing resolve and willpower. But he's like, man, if I kill the most evil man, not even just kill, if I let the most evil man who's ever existed die, I'm just going to go, hey, I'm going to go crazy, kill everyone. I liked it.
Although there's a lot of self-defense involved, he is attacked a lot.
Yeah, I liked it in Batman Begins where he's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you either. Have fun riding this train, and then just pieces out. That's good. That you can always pull that move.
I mean, I didn't put you on this train.
Yeah, like your actions led you here. I don't have to save you. It's not in the Batman rulebook that I have to save you.
Wraith X7, the fact that that the state where Gotham City is located doesn't pass a death penalty law is why we need to stop saying Batman comics are realistic.
And stop trying to make movies where they're realistic. Oh, it's so gritty.
How about we design a better Arkham
There have been times where he's had the death penalty, though. You had that Silver Age story where he gets the death penalty, he actually dies, and then he has his cronies inject him with a serum that brings him back. He's like, I served my sentence. And so the Joker just goes on. He's like, I'm good. And then Batman watches him waiting for him to commit a crime. You also have Devil's Advocate from Chuck Dixon, where he gets sentenced to death for killing people with stamps, but then it turns out it was someone else, and Batman investigates to figure out, because he's like, I know Joker didn't do this, but he could have let Joker just be executed by the state, and then he could have, afterwards, he could have been like, it was someone different. Dang Shucks, I was late.
I love the idea that Wraith X7 thinks that anything's realistic anyway. You just had a story where a foreign entity, a foreign family, were legit going to hang a guy in Gotham, and everybody was fine with it.
I think they technically did hang him, right?
Yeah.
That's why they had to take him to that desert.
They said Batman was hung. Yeah, they ended up like that was like it was wrong in so many levels. Just the idea that it was a foreign, monarchy that just comes into America, goes to Gotham and says, yeah, we're going to hang this guy. Now you could say they ended up having the asthma and they were, everybody, this reality engine, but that wasn't the whole nation. Like people looking in and seeing this. So it's nowhere. It's never been realistic or never anything of the sort. But it's just kind of fun.
They go back and forth on the death penalty in Gotham, and also you can claim insanity no matter what. And they're like, all right, you're good. You'll spend an eternity in Arkham. That's fine.
The idea that the Penguin ends up where he's just a gangster. He's like, I'm insane. Look at me. And they're like, off to Arkham. Like some of the villains that they send to Arkham, they're like, they're not really insane. They're just villains. It's very odd. Though he does make love to penguins, as Tom King told us. So that might be a reason. But who knows?
Oh God, Tom King.
What?
Yeah. You just remember that one, Breen.
It's in canon.
Tom King pretty much confirmed that Penguin nails penguins. And Penny, I think her name was, the penguin that he was doing at one point.
Well, Johnny Storm just got let off the hook.
Yeah, really. He just does centipedes, and the centipede was willing. I don't know if a penguin is capable of
being willing
or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Wraith X7 says Joker should be revamped from being a serial killer, mass murderer, to just being a criminal mastermind who sometimes kills.
He was. It's called the Silver Age.
Yeah. And they had to go back. Denny O'Neil had to fix that because he wasn't dangerous enough.
Well, yeah, the code forced them to make Joker just a guy that robs banks and plays pranks. And yeah, when the code relaxed, Denny O'Neil was able to, make him a maniacal, homicidal maniac again.
I always liked the idea in Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth, where the psychiatrist is talking about the fact that they don't even know what Joker's madness is. They can't even define it. They think it's like some kind, and they're basically calling it some kind of super sanity is the best idea they've come up with, because he wakes up every day and recreates himself. And so some days he's a whimsical clown, and other days he's a psychotic murderer, and it's just like the idea that every day is like a fresh slate for the Joker. He has all his memories, but like his MO and his morality shifts depending on the moment. And I always thought that was an interesting idea that never got explored anywhere else. And really,
do you want to see a sequel? Because I think you're about to get one.
Am I really? I mean, I would have liked to have maybe seen a sequel when Grant Morrison was in his prime, but.
That is the big rumor regarding the Grant Morrison return to Batman.
Don't you mean when Grant Morrison was in their prime?
No, because he's denied that. And that's something that that weirdos are trying to attach to him.
Oh, I thought.
And even if he said I'm a they them, and people are like, oh, he uses they them pronouns. That's cool. I don't. So
he specifically said that he doesn't, but they still do it in articles. It's weird. But HH and the boys at Sigma Comics and 100 Bros get murked by a gorilla. 100 Pro Fighters have a shot, and I'd switch over to protect the gorilla as long as Chuck Norris is in the 100. So HH is a turncoat? He'd turn on the 100 fighters, decide with the gorilla, go 99 on 2?
Yeah, because you know what? Why are those guys messing with that gorilla? That gorilla didn't want any trouble. That's just
a
bunch of
getting paid a fair wage to perform a service and put on a show, man. It's part of the deal. He shouldn't have signed the contract. He didn't want to fight 100 men at once.
Roddy Piper once had to fight a drunk bear at a carnival.
He probably won.
Besides that gorilla has to get to his typewriter so he can bang out those anti-Superman posts.
That's true.
So what do we make of that? I think 100 normal dudes could defeat a gorilla just by overwhelming numbers, but a lot of them would be hurt dearly.
Yeah. If you have the guys that have the mental fortitude to do it, they'll beat them. If you have guys that are committed to the cause, they'll beat the gorilla.
But 100 randos, at least 70 of them are going to run the wrong way as the 30 guys with the heart go after it.
If you have
Aaron
100
Sparrow and I are
UFC
eating
fighters,
it while fucking Jim is running.
I'm not fighting a gorilla. You couldn't pay me enough. Even if it was like you're one of 100.
Yeah, but this is this is a life or death situation. You're like on War World. You're sent there. You're with the 100. You have to fight the gorilla. That's the scenario I'm thinking of. Not you're getting paid and this is voluntary. This is life or death.
Are you saving your kids or something? Because then I'm running. I'm running the hell out the other way. That's why I had 5 kids.
Slow them down for me.
Wall. I'm like throwing them at him.
Jim only has to run faster than his 5 kids. That's all he has to do.
That's all I need to do.
I believe if you had 100 guys with the willpower to actually go and attack the girl at one time, they would easily win. They would rip it to shreds.
Yep.
If the gorilla had HH on his team, it'd be much more difficult.
I just saw a video the other day of a guy being like, we found the gorilla's weakness. He's at the zoo, and one gorilla takes sand and just throws it in the other gorilla's eyes. And the gorilla's just like stuck there like this, not knowing what to do. Like pocket sand. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
as a human, you can pick up tools and use them as a weapon.
Yeah, you got 10 guys on sand duty, and
if the guys are able to like forge weapons and we're able to use our intellect to create things to kill the gorilla, then yes, 100 men can kill a gorilla. But if we just got to go in there bare knuckle brawling with the gorilla, I think you're getting messed up, because I don't know, even unless you've got the world's best UFC fighters throwing the hardest punches they can. 100 normal guys are not going to you punch a gorilla.
If 100 people dogpiled a gorilla, the gorilla would not be able to get up. It would be too much weight.
And then we're just kidney punching him until he dies?
Yeah,
poke him in the eyes. Yeah.
Yes. Start ripping pieces off of him, I think.
They're kicking him in the face like they did to me.
But then next thing you know, HH shows up and he's throwing you off the pile and he's giving you the business. helping out the gorilla.
Somebody needs to draw a gorilla with a pile of humans on him and HH on top, like throwing guys off of the gorilla pile.
Yeah. Carlitos Figueroa, Geoff Johns' DC work is legendary. I love his Superman stories like Last Son and Brainiac, as well as his Aquaman and Flash Rebirth. I forgot to mention his Aquaman. He had like this fantastic Aquaman run in the New 52.
That introduction of Black Manta is amazing in that run. Yeah, I love his New 52 Aquaman's great. That was like the first real Aquaman that like made people in the modern age be like, oh man, Aquaman's not that lame. He's actually pretty cool. And yet Ivan Reis on there. It was great.
Yeah, Ivan Reis helps out a lot.
Yep.
Super Friends is what largely contributed.
Well, Craig Ferguson didn't help.
Well, that's true.
Remember those sketches?
Yeah, I mean, Dave Chappelle has a great bit that was on like Dr. Katz, where it's he goes, I was reading this comic book and it had like some selections of like, who would you rather be? Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, or Aquaman? And I was like, well, let's see, Superman, you can fly into space and punch a planet out of orbit. Batman, world's greatest fighter, world's greatest detective. Green Lantern, think of anything he can create anything through his ring, based on his will. And Aquaman talks to fish. And it's like, and that's what Aquaman was reduced to for a long time. And, but then he's like, they cut to this scene and it's Aquaman just like in the ocean and he swims up to this fish and, he's like, hello there, fish. And the fish goes, hi, Aquaman. And then he goes, so you, seen any crimes around here? And the fish kind of the fish looks to the left and then the fish looks to the right and then looks back at him and is surprised and goes, hi, Aquaman.
The sad thing is Aquaman's never really had a bad run. Just some characters. No matter besides her, my mental editor already deleted that.
Well, technically, that was still the same numbering, I think, as Dan Abnett's run.
It was.
So
but
that's a good run.
Some characters, no matter how many great creators you put on them, aren't going to last. I don't care who you put on Hawkman, because we've had Geoff Johns, we've had Robert Venditti. It doesn't last. Aquaman, I don't care how great Jeremy Adams run is, it's not going to last. It's just the way the comic book industry is set up now. If you're not Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, or Wolverine, there are very few other exceptions. They're just going to be finite runs. And so I said, the Peter David run on Aquaman was terrific. Hell, Eric Larson did a good Aquaman following that in the same series. It's just they have short shelf lives.
So what do you think, Breen, as a lifelong reader? Is Geoff Johns a DC legend?
Yeah, I said I've loved everything he's done, with the notable exception of his feelings about Superman. Because I will always be loyal to the John Byrne, Marv Wolfman, Roger Stern post-crisis era. And Geoff Johns and Mark Waid, apparently when they were getting along, wanted to return him back to the Silver Age, and they eventually had the juice to do it. So they just undid everything about post-crisis piece by piece. And, I said, they're great stories now. I mean, like the Legion story that was referenced earlier, I can go back and read it now and appreciate it as a great story. Hated it at the time because I did not like the return of sniveling Clark Kent. And I'll say it again. Lois Lane would not have married that guy, and they should have just undone that and had her marry Superman. If they were gonna put Clark back to being what he was in the Silver Age, it should have been Superman and Lois as the couple.
And Lois is like, I fucking hate your roommate Clark. He's like such a fucking wet blanket. Like, why does he even have to be here? She hasn't figured out that he's actually Superman.
No, she could have known. I mean, I said, but they would.
But she doesn't want to be married to him.
Well,
like,
no, I'm saying, the public perception. If Clark Kent, Lois is this dynamic woman, very successful. Clark is this, so nobody can figure out that he's Superman. That's what I liked about Byrne. They made it work both ways, and eventually she fell for Clark. And there's no way she's falling for the Silver Age version of Clark. She never did in the 50 years prior. And they should have just, like I said, dissolved that and had her be with Superman in public.
Rate that 7. If Batman is crazy because he puts on a bat costume to fight crime, then so are most Marvel and DC superheroes.
Yeah. Some are just.
Well, I mean, Spider-Man's not crazy. He got powers that he didn't want, and he's protecting his identity to save his aunt.
It's more identity.
Pretty sane.
Yeah, that's...
You know what I mean?
Still doesn't.
I don't think Superman's crazy.
No, but there are other heroes you could say are crazy, like Batman.
Man.
I mean, the whole concept of superheroes is crazy. It's just escapist fun. It's not. You're not meant. You're not actually meant to think about it as hard as people do.
Then why are we here?
Yeah. What are you trying to say about?
We're talking about stories. We're talking.
I thought Brett meant on Earth.
What makes good heroic tales? But once you like really start to break down any like, why didn't this happen? Why didn't that happen? Why doesn't this? It's like you're gonna like pull all the mystique out of it. Sometimes the story just needs to happen.
Is Daredevil crazy? Yeah. Moon Knight definitely crazy.
Well, Daredevil's Catholic, so yeah, he's got a lot of issues.
Yeah. Moon Knight's crazy.
Moon Knight's definitely crazy.
Federico de la Casa. Superman went crazy after killing Zod. He became gangbuster when he was asleep and then left Earth to heal. Soup's killed proved that he made him worse.
No, he was fighting crime doubly, and he didn't then start murdering a bunch of people like Batman thought he would. So, and he exiled himself because he was like, man, I killed Zod and all them in that pocket.
He probably could feel that killer instinct coming on. That's why he had to exile himself.
No, because he still
Yoda'd it.
No, because he went and fought on Warworld after that and told Mongol, I'm not going to kill. When he was told, hey, do it, he still didn't kill. He still went and fought crime and did a bunch of great things, didn't kill no one. It was just him being like, okay, I crossed a boundary. I need to exile myself and figure some things out. And he did, and he still didn't kill anyone. And his thing becoming gangbuster, guess what? He became another hero that still didn't kill people and still helps. Oh, how horrible.
It occurs to me that like the way that I phrased what I just said makes it sound like I said that Daredevil is crazy because he's Catholic. I just want to reiterate that's not what I meant. What I meant was he has all of that heavy Catholic guilt that drives him crazy.
I actually meant what you thought you said. And also, Dylan, I think you have to explain it to Federico here. What exactly the deal? But yeah, he didn't. That's the worst. Is if he was when he became gangbuster, if he actually went on a killing spree, that would be different.
Yeah, but he didn't. Yeah,
wouldn't that be a great character if when he's like awake he's Superman, but when he goes to sleep he goes complete Doctor or Mr. Hyde on that.
New
turns into a serial killer and he's like trying to catch himself.
That would be funny.
He didn't realize that he's been sleepwalking and murdering people.
Yeah, but no one's arguing that him killing Zod didn't affect him, but it didn't go the whole Batman route where it's like, if I kill one person, then I'm going to become a serial killer and murder a bunch of people. Like that didn't happen with Superman. But obviously,
that shows a fear that Batman has deep inside of him. That that like what if I kill this guy and I find out I kind of like it. And it's something ugly about himself. Superman's not good. He doesn't have that issue.
But yeah, I wouldn't say he got worse after that. Like he just went and even helped even more people.
So Dylan, do you think the worst reason ever for someone like isolating themselves was Yoda in the Star Wars trilogy? Or, I'm sorry, in the prequel trilogy?
For failing, and then I mean, if he
why don't you go back and do it again then, homie?
If he had a plan, like I understand isolating himself after that because he failed and then like the Emperor took over and everything, but you feel like he should have had a plan. Instead, he's just like, I'm just going to chill and the Force will figure things out. And that was it. He had no urgency. Because I get having to get out of there and isolating yourself because of what just happened. The Emperor has control of the Senate and everything. And so now it's kind of over. That was your one chance. But at least try to figure something out. He didn't try to figure nothing out. He's like, the Force will figure it out for me. I'm just going to chill. And that's all he did.
Because the prequels aren't well written. I mean, it's just...
He should have been put there by the Emperor. Like they captured him and like, we need to get rid of him. We can't kill him. Maybe he's too strong in the Force and just like leave him there.
But then when Luke shows up there, they'd be like, oh, Luke's on Dagobah. Let's go get him. Yeah. So that creates other problems.
And Obi-Wan, how would he know about it?
Yeah.
Unless he found him and he was like, no, you're going to have to leave me here. Everyone needs to think I'm dead. I don't know.
Yeah.
There you go. Federico de la Casa. Tom King has proof the CIA is trying to infiltrate comics. I hope not. I have a feeling he's not their best.
It just should have.
I
feel like even the CIA is not thrilled with Tom King.
And then Officer Ball says, I will burn Joker just like Nero did.
I don't know what that means.
Officer Balls is coming for the Joker.
I don't know.
So I got all the sights on him. Definitely want to say thank you very much to everybody. We do need to give another big shout out. I need to get rid of this banner here. We need another shout out to our sponsor for today's video. Since their iconic run on the Punisher Unlimited series, comic book legends Mike Baron and Klaus Janson are back together on the same explosive book. Get ready for Calico Morality Play, a stunning 176-page trade paperback from Sigma Comics, collecting Here Comes Calico issues 9 through 14, packed with character backgrounds, jaw-dropping art, and so much more. In the gritty streets of Red Hook, Brooklyn, animals are turning up dead. But when people start dying too, Calico faces a gut-wrenching choice that shakes the very core of his morality. Hero, anti-hero, or criminal. You'll be on the edge of your seat finding out. Unlike Calico's Street Math, which was rated M for mature, Morality Play is rated T for teens. So if you love Batman, Daredevil, or The Punisher, this is your next obsession. Back Calico Morality Play on Kickstarter today, and Sigma Comics guarantees delivery within 30 days of the campaign's close. No waiting around. And a huge thanks to H.H. German and Sigma Comics for supporting Comics Aficionados. We're thrilled to help bring this animal rights avenger to life. Search Calico Morality Play on Kickstarter now, or click the link in the video description to join the fight. Don't miss this one, true believers. There you go. Thank you very much to HH and Team Time Sigma Comics. We cannot wait to see you in Dallas for Dallas Fan Expo, and we're going to have a combined table with TCM Press, right, Sparrow?
That's right. That's right. We're going to be there. We're going to have some cool stuff for you guys. It should be a good time. So please come and see us in Dallas Fan Expo.
Should be great. And let's get into some comic book recommendations and I guess get Audi on this one. I thought we were going to cover more topics, but the Batman Hush stuff really turned into an enormous DC conversation. It was kind of fun. Dylan, you recommended any comic books this week?
Yes. So Batman The Last Halloween #7, which Dave Johnson did great, and I really like the color from Dave Stewart. And it's just the Robin stuff's the reason to read it. The background plot's okay. It's kind of a retread, but I'm really digging the Batman and Robin stuff. Hellhunters #5. Hellhunters ended. Hopefully we get more, but Hellhunters is really good. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Duke #1, the silent issue. I really enjoyed that. I thought this was really good. And then the Rockefellers #5. This was one of the better issues of the Rockefellers. It's been dragging its feet, but now we got some actual plot going on. And also, I got to head out. I got to head to the airport. So this was fun. Thank you guys, and I'll see everyone later.
Have fun in Hawaii.
Enjoy your Hawaiian vacation.
Very nice.
I really like Dylan.
I
hope he gets a shave ice while he's in Hawaii.
Oh, he's
that'd be nice.
Shave ice with the beans in the bottom.
Yeah.
Jim from Weird Science. Do you got any books you want to recommend this week?
I thought shaved ice was some sexual move. I was about to write a song about it, but yeah.
I'm sure you still will.
Ice rhymes with Red Hulk #3. I think it's one of the better, if not one of the only books in the One World Under Doom that's worth even checking out. Batman Long Halloween, The Last Halloween 7, like exactly what Dylan said. It's more for the Batman and Robin stuff, and the Robin stuff in particular, and that's it. I really had a shitty week of comics, especially Big Two were really bad, and legit. Some of the worst things I've ever read this week. Don't get The Question All Along the Watchtower, or don't get near that Spider-Man Godzilla garbage either. They're both awful.
Hey, what if Godzilla had a symbiote? That would have been really cool 20 years ago.
Well, it'd be awesome too, because somehow he gets a symbiote, and he also gets 900 editor's notes from Nick Lowe that are worse.
Oh, Nick Lowe thought he was so delightful.
Oh my god, yeah,
it was
guy.
awful.
Oh my goodness, but yeah.
Jim, you got any videos people should be looking out for?
I end up having the live streams is what I do mostly. I didn't have an absolute live stream yesterday because there was no absolute books, which I think might have been a mistake for DC. But I'll have my best of live stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Have a preview show 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, the only time really that matters. And also a Sunday show at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just, go over the thing. And also, if you go to Sus Records, you can hear some dirty ditties, as they say, but not by Diddy. That'd be too dirty.
There's a link in the video description.
I also got a copyright strike this week in a song called "I Need to Blow Jobs Every Day." I don't know who actually originally wrote that one. I thought it was me, but I got a copyright strike that I'm fighting right now. It's ridiculous.
Jim, you need to do a song called "A Little Ditty About Diddy."
A little ditty about Diddy. Yeah, I'd probably do it like as like a New Kids, or not a New Kids, like back in the day boy group kind of thing. That's what he would like. So I'll do that. So there you go. New edition. That's what I'll do.
Mr. Breen, are you recommending any comic books?
Well, I was gonna recommend Spider-Man, Godzilla, and Question, but I do have a couple actually. Wacky Races. This was a cartoon in the early 70s. It's one of the few that I actually got to watch as a kid. And there's characters like Penelope Pitstop, Dick Dastardly, Muttley, Peter Perfect, and they come up with
Snidely Whiplash.
Why they all have those names, and it's pretty well done. I actually enjoyed it. It played itself relatively seriously, and left itself open to a sequel. But my other recommendation is something called Pin-Apocalypse. It's set in the 50s. It's this ditzy, just like prom queen type is in a town that basically gets overrun by zombies, and as she's trying to flee for her life, not really having a clue what goes on, she teams up with this gang tough chick or whatever, and they're now the only two people that aren't. And she goes home. I
think she's a greaser.
It's Foxy and Roxy, and Foxy goes home and spends 15 minutes putting on her, reapplying her makeup, not realizing that the surprise party waiting for her downstairs are all zombies now. Now, this is just a fun series. It reads like a drive-in movie, and if they can avoid the modern trope of having the two hook up at the end of it, this will be a recommend all the way through because it's a lot of fun.
Very nice. Appreciate that. Breen, you got any big appearances coming up this week?
Not that I'm aware of. At the
no comic book auctions?
Yeah, the auction's tonight, 8 o'clock. I love comics. Then I said the readings that we do a couple times a week, but no, nothing big time like my time on Thinking Critical.
No, the auction is big time, and people want to know where you're doing the reading. What channel's that on?
Geeky Puppet Show. Sunday at 8 o'clock. We massacre a couple comics. Then we read Sundays, Mondays. I think they read every night, but I join them on Sundays, Mondays, and Fridays.
Beautiful. Be looking out for that one. Appreciate you coming on here. And last but not least, we do have Mr. Sparrow. Are you recommending any books this week?
Yeah, I'm going to recommend G.I. Joe Special Missions Duke. I'm going to recommend Savage Sword of Conan. It's got some beautiful, beautiful stories in it. Some great writing by Jim Zub. Some of the most gorgeous art I've ever seen from Liam Sharp. So those are my two recommendations this week. I also picked up Kitty Pryde and Wolverine #1. That is not a recommend. Very mediocre story by Claremont and some of the worst art. Kitty neither looks young nor like a woman. She mostly looks like a 40-year-old, very time ravaged twink. There's no other way to put it. It's pretty terrible. Yukio at one point appears at the first page that Yukio appeared on. I was like, why is Darwin Cook's Catwoman in here? Or the costume looks like it's just ripped straight from Catwoman. None of the faces look right. If you're going to bring Claremont back, make sure that he delivers something, and then give him an artist who can actually elevate it.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, Alan Milgram made her look like that 40 years ago in the original.
Well, that's true. I was never a fan of Al Milgram's art. Even when he was doing it was like I was reading Secret Avengers because I liked Hawkeye, but man, it was tough to get through that.
I put a picture of one of the things with Kitty in our Slack chat and I said, "Can you guess the character?" And there was 30 people who guessed, not one guessed a woman. Like Peter Parker, you're gonna like, I think it's this. And I'm like,
oh, and she gets the worst costume in that issue. Like,
and then she gets that after saying she didn't want to get anything X-Men. Then they give her the worst version. She's like, oh my god, this is awesome. It's like, I don't get this.
It's no Mad Before Nights, I'll tell you that.
Ooh, no, not
or
at
deep
all.
cut.
No,
unfortunately. Sparrow, you going to be around? Where do people need to be looking for you?
I mean, I'll be around. I'm always on Twitter. I'm always on Instagram. You know.
No, are you going to be on Popeye Culture? Are you going to be on World Class?
I think we're doing Popeye Culture this week. You know, unless Josh has to work or has some other thing that makes him not do it. You know, consistency is key, Josh McDonald. So you know,
the wrestling show.
I did what wrestling show?
I did Mania.
I did pop into Max's stream last night when they were talking about Yellow Flash's book Golden Patriot and all the drama surrounding it. I came in and gave some perspective on why I thought they weren't nailing the whole story of why it's at where it's at. So if you get a chance, go check out that on the Comic Crusader channel with Max Field, Bud Priestley.
Very, very nice. Appreciate everybody. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you here next weekend.
Neil.